more than I liked caddying for Paul. I love caddying for Paul, don't get me wrong.
How much would you pay to play disc golf? And like, to me, that kind of gives me an idea about like what these elite courses, this is where I'm going back to, it gives me an idea about what these elite courses could or should charge.
If I was to go to Europe and play the Beast, I would happily pay $50 because that's the experience of it. Yarva, on the other hand, is one of the most beautiful looking courses in the world, and it would be a dream to play there. If I had one opportunity, only had to play one round there, I honestly would probably pay $100 just to say I've played Yarva disc golf course.
$100.
Anywhere else though, I've never looked at another course and said, yeah, I would totally pay that much.
For me, if I can play a free course or I can choose to play a course that's $40, I will do the $40 course every now and then.
Every so often. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's Nick from the Nick and Matt Show. My co-host Matt sitting right across from me, and we are on week number, I forget.
23.
23?
It's week number 23.
23.
And there we go. Nick, we record live, and for some reason, our chat window is like zero people have joined. And I'm like, this is impossible. Where are they? We got a great guest.
We got nervous. Oh, there we go. Yeah, episode 23. So yeah. We're on episode 23. We've done this 23 times now. And we might just do it another 23 times more after that. I don't know yet.
So, Nick, you played in a tournament last week. And
do
you want to talk about it?
No.
You want to? No?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I went up and played a tournament in New York at a course that I had played like 5 years ago called Heiser Creek. Jeff, actually one of the guys, one of our super fans, kind of hit me up about it. And he was like, hey man, there's this tournament going on. It's a 2-day C tier because the parking is so small, and during COVID times and everything like that, we had to do tee times. So yeah, I went up there Friday, got in a really good practice round. I actually felt really good about the course, and it was very birdie friendly. Some of the pars were pretty soft, and I felt really good about it. And then Saturday rolled around, and it wasn't warm. Like, it was definitely cold out. And but no, I just didn't really put it together. And then second round on Sunday, I definitely did not put it together. So my last tournament of the year, I have a couple more that I'm signed up for, but I'm actually dropping out of those because I really want to focus now on kind of like my mental state and getting back to the gym and everything like that. Because that's one of the hardest things, I think, touring throughout the year. Not really touring, but like just playing tournaments consistently is finding time to go to the gym. And especially if you haven't gone for a while, the time that you do go back, your body just gets shredded, like destroyed. And obviously playing a tournament like that is awful. So I don't know. I'm super excited to get back to the off season and kind of work on myself, work on my game.
All right. Yeah. I haven't played a tournament in a while. And for me, I had a cool experience this week. I think he's in the chat room tonight. Kent Chapman, he hit me up last week or a few weeks ago and said, hey, Matt, do you have some time? I'm going to be heading to Maple Hill. You know, I've never been down there before, and I want to check things out. And I said, yeah, come on down. Let's get a tee time. Let's do it. And so I met up with him, and we ended up playing around, and one thing led to another. I've got a few stories to tell, and he's a really cool guy.
Very nice.
Very cool guy.
Did you judge him?
Man, every single shot, he had to know it was coming. And then by the end of the round, I said, hey, do you want to be a participant on Judge That Disc Golfer? So we've got Kent Chapman. He will be our Judge Disc Golfer tonight. And let's get things started out real quick here with a super chat from Scott's Tots. Now, that's funny.
So, if you're going to ask if I watched The Office, I very, very casually have watched it. I don't think I've watched a full episode start to finish, though. My dad and my sister are obsessed with it, and I have a bunch of friends who are beyond obsessed with it.
So thank you, Scott's Tots. That's very generous of you. Again, any super chats that go towards this will go to improving the live feed for everybody here. And if you can't tell already, we've done some things here, like we're adding in chats now live. So if you do chat, it pops up on the screen when we have this view. So really, we're just kind of delaying here for no reason. I've been trying to teach Nick how to talk into his microphone.
Oh yeah, and trying to make sure our sound qualities, because Matt's always got a more hotter mic than I do.
So now,
And because when I get casually talking, I'm just like, I'll start going back here, and then we completely lose me in the mic. So
so now they're listening, like they're driving in their cars, and they're like, "Is that a little louder, or is that quieter? Is what's
yeah,
it?" Don't think about it too much.
no.
Nick's doing a much better job. I just have to be more on the sliders if he keeps
Yeah,
changing. That's all.
yeah, we're checking it out,
As
but
long as
we
you stay close to the mic, Nick, we should be good. All right.
yeah. Well,
So
I'll just say kind of like thank you everyone for joining so far tonight. We've already had a couple people say, "Hey, first time watching it live. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing." So we just want to say we thank you guys for tuning in and checking out the Nick and Matt show. Well, I'll say this every week. We kind of started this as a joke, and it's really blown up to points where we had like 60 live viewers, and we thought, okay, that's probably what we're going to cap out for the year. And then one week we had like 550 live viewers, and it was pretty insane. So we have a pretty sweet guest on tonight. I'm very excited because spoiler alert, it's another Discraft guy. And I love me that Discraft. So
I say
or a
Nick.
Discraft player.
I say Nick. Who should we have on the show? Missy Gannon, Paul
Yeah.
Ulibarri. Who like? He's like,
I was
hey,
like,
come
whoever
on.
says yes.
He's like, come on. He's like, we've had on Simon, we've had on Big Jeremy.
Yeah. We had
So,
Kona, we had all these people.
all right.
We had Eagle.
So we delayed so long already. It's been what, 6 minutes. So
We
here's
have.
the segments tonight. And Paul is not a segment. He's going to be a guest, but Paul is going to be on the show, and I can't wait to hear from him. He's had a lot going on, really, over the last few years.
Few years, yeah, definitely.
But there's so much that we could catch up on. But we put out, if you don't know, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, we'd reach out through social media there, and we had probably our most interactive engagement ever on YouTube through our social post that we did. We said we're having Paul on, and we got the most engagement we've had through YouTube.
Nice.
So we got some responses, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So we got some feedback that people would like to know, kind of fell in line with what we thought would be interesting.
Yep.
So that's our guest tonight. We might get to this topic, but I'm not sure. Who has the strongest team in disc golf? I think
I kind of like this topic, so
all right,
that's
we'll
why
bring it
I
up.
think I think
When we
we'll have a
bring
quick
Paul
little.
in, we'll
so
do
like
it-
who
we'll do it
who has
with
the
Paul.
strongest team? Kind of like a team in of a team
Yeah.
Discraft. Like that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
we won't make that long, but because
No, we'll do it quickly. Yeah.
we'll all fight. We'll go in the ring. Lost on the disc golf course. This is not about like physically getting lost, although that is an interesting topic.
Mhm.
How well should courses be marked out, showing you where the
Very.
next hole is? So that could be something. And then, but we're really going to be talking about things that people lost on the disc golf course, and I've got a story for you about that, and maybe
Oh.
the most costly thing that somebody has lost on the course. Yeah. So and then the Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star Weekend was just announced. What is that? That we're going to talk about.
We're gonna talk about it because it sounds sick.
And the segment Judge That Disc Golfer is back. I'm so happy that I got to meet with Kent Chapman. So everyone knows he's in the chat board. He is one of our longtime, from the beginning, very first episode, commenter, subscriber, supporter, super fan.
Yeah.
He is going to be judged tonight.
Heck yeah.
Okay. And right as we got ready to bring in our guest, he just hung up the phone on us. So let's see
Did
if
we
we can
lose
get
him?
a hold of him again here. We're going to give it a try. Okay, so we may have just grabbed him back in. I'm not sure, but Nick,
We gotta avoid legal snags by
Three-
telling people that we are recording them. I just read that at the top. So just
all right, Paul, if you can hear us, Paul, you got to turn your camera back on. Okay, so Nick, we're also doing the 3K
there he is.
giveaway. Okay, so that is still going on. We're only like 200 subscribers away from 3,000, and let's do this really quickly in about 1 minute or less. Let's talk about updates in the disc golf world. Give me the first one. Don Shin.
Oh, yeah. The world record holder for 100 years, I guess 100 years and older at this point. I don't know.
World Flying Disc Federation.
Yeah, the World Flying Disc Federation got him at 189 feet, which for 100 years old, I mean, I feel like that's beyond
I hope I can
insane,
do
to
that
be
at 100.
honest.
ESPN2 Disc Golf premiere has been scheduled November 24th. That's 2 days before Thanksgiving. It's going to air at 8 p.m. That is prime time.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Myrtle Beach Open, literally hit the quick stats. Who won? Who got second?
Chris Dickerson got first, averaging, what'd you say, 1056 or 1052? Sorry,
1052.
1052. And then Paul Ulibarri getting second place. And actually tied with Austin Hannum, the two Discraft guys. And then quick little shout out to Barry Schultz and Austin Turner, tying for fourth place, 23 under par, average rating of 1034.
And I'll take the FPO. Katrina Allen takes it down. I was a little surprised. This is no knock on a win, because a win is a win.
Mhm.
But it seems low compared to the rest of the season. A 953 rating, average +5. It makes me wonder, not if the gameplay was excellent, but if the course was designed for the FPO, as
Yeah.
we see the Disc Golf Pro Tour doing all year. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I haven't watched any of the coverage yet, so I don't really know.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
shout out to her for winning. And honestly, the payout was significant. 1,500 for first down there at the Myrtle Beach Open, and
For FPO.
yeah, and 2,000 for MPO. Awesome.
Paul
And-
Sullivan wrote a lot of talk about the payouts last week at Myrtle Beach Open. Can you ask Paul his thoughts? I'm curious.
Sure.
Are
We're
they good
literally-
payouts or bad payouts?
I think they're good. We're literally
Okay.
bringing Paul in 15 seconds. The second place winner, our second place, was Holly Finley and Ellen Wimboom. Good to see her again in a podium finished. All right.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the man himself, the man of the hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
The captain for Team Discraft.
Paul Ulibarri. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's
I'm
up,
good.
dude?
I'm good.
So we've got one person in the live chat. No, I'm kidding. We've got people.
Yeah.
We've got people streaming in. They're already asking questions. They're like, "What does he think? Did you hear about the payouts for the Myrtle?" Well, you were part of it.
Yeah,
You
he
took
was-
second.
yeah.
So what did you think?
I noticed. Yeah, I noticed. I thought it was great. I wasn't expecting, like when you're, especially after the pro tour, like it seems like the tour kind of takes a hit as far as like if you're playing A tiers. For the most part, if it doesn't have that DGPT on it, it's going to be a little lower payout. But it seems similar to, the DGP payouts as far as the top tier, the top 4 people in each division really got paid out. So I was pleasantly surprised for sure.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, when I looked at it, and this is just as an AM player, but really invested in the sport, I was impressed. I said, it's not Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I didn't expect to see it because it just is. I thought it was decent. Now I know it's an A tier, but yeah, I agree.
But I mean, still though, $2,000 for first place at an A tier. The couple that I've played this year have been $1,400 for first, $1,500 for first. So I feel like 2,000 is a pretty good amount. I don't really know the field size or anything like that. I did hear that they put in $20,000 added cash, but I don't really know payout structures through tournaments that well.
Yeah,
except for it pays out 40% and
Nick-
yada yada yada.
Nick doesn't run tournaments; he plays them.
No, exactly.
So recently, Kevin Jones just won, and we brought you on to talk about his win. No, I'm kidding. We brought you on because we think you're an excellent person to bring on and ask questions about everything that's going on in the disc golf world, because you've been around for a long time. But let me do the segue from Kevin Jones, because Kevin Jones, in a recent interview, I listened to as many as I can, he compared you to, I think he used the word surprisingly athletic. So he even said, like, I think that you could whoop on him in basketball. So like, where does your athleticism come from? You've been in disc golf a long time, but what other sports have you dabbled in or you enjoy?
No, I grew up playing, really anything, and I think I get my athleticism actually from my mom's side of the family. For the longest time, growing up, you think your dad's like the most athletic person in the world, and then, recently I was like playing. My mom started playing disc golf, and she's like pretty good, and she's 60 plus years old, and she's just like out there shredding. And I'm like, okay, now I know where I got it from. And she has stories of like riding motorcycles when she was a kid and just being super athletic. And so I can credit it to my mom. And then, growing up, I had an older brother who is 10 years older than me. And we would, compete against each other all the way, of course, until he moved out and I moved out or whatever. But that 10-year difference, I was always competing against him. And when you're young, it's pretty hard to compete in sports against somebody who's 10 years older than you.
Yeah, he might
And
have
so I
slight
got kind of
advantage.
good at like anything that I really did quick because I wanted to compete with my brother,
That's a great point. I have 4 sons, 10 years old and younger, and I'm noticing that, like, while my oldest son is good at disc golf, there's no doubt about it, I'm realizing my second oldest is like excelling quicker at a younger age, and I think it's because of what you just said. It's the like I have to keep up. I have to try to beat my older brother.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been playing disc golf?
I started in 2005. So, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I think 17 years or 18 years or something.
Hey, I read in a recent, I know, I'm like going through in my head. People
It
are
just
like,
kinda
that's
like
not right.
everyone probably thinks he's so serious about it.
People, now we're all just laughing here. So interesting. You started. So if you started in 2005, and I just saw a
Yeah.
recent article that the
20 years
PDGA
ago.
did. Yeah, 20 years. You guys are all messing up. And 2006, was that when you won? Was that when you won a world championship, and it was a junior world championship? And what division was that at the time? Was that 18 and under, or what was that?
No, I never won a junior world championship. I won the amateur
Oh,
world championship. So I
Am
won
Worlds.
the Am Worlds. Yeah. In 2005, I'd been playing a couple months, and I played the junior world championships in Flagstaff, which was only a couple hours from where I was from. And that was my first ever PDGA tournament. And it's funny because at that tournament, I actually played with Macbeth, and it was his first tournament ever as well.
Whoa, I don't know.
And so I played with him. I played with Devin Owens. James Conrad was part of that. And yeah, we had a great group that year. And then it was the next year. So I'd been playing like 2-3 months. And then the next year I won the Amateur World Championships.
That's pretty sick.
Man, I feel like anytime I do this and I have a guest on and I mess up a fact about them, I just want to like take my headphones off and walk away. I don't know why. I think, am I having a brain freeze? Were you recently, though? PDGA did interview you about being a junior in the sport, right? Or no?
Well, I won it at 18 years old. So that's probably why.
Okay. So
I think 19 and under is considered
that's considered
a
junior. Yes. Awesome. Well, I think that's totally
And
cool.
so really quick, a funny story. So at the junior world championships, I had gotten done, and we're all hanging out. My first tournament ever. I had no idea what was going on, and I'm chilling, talking with Macbeth and a few other kids. Just chatting it up. And he's like, "How'd you finish?" And I'm like, "I finished really good. I think I got fourth." And he's like, "You didn't get fourth?" And I'm like, "No, I did. I think I got fourth." He's like, "Well, then you're gonna miss the final 9." I had no idea there was an extra 9 holes for getting fourth place, so I had to run across the park to get to my tee time
jeez.
so Macbeth saved me from, like, missing the whole entire final 9 for the Junior World Championship.
That's pretty sick. Did you move up at all from 4th place? Did you move up?
No, I stayed in 4th.
Oh, gotcha.
I gave it a good old try, but,
Nice.
those kids were pretty good back
Yeah.
then, I'd only been playing a couple months.
Do you remember who won it?
Devin.
Devin Owens did?
Yep.
Nice.
Man.
That's pretty sick.
I
That's
saw-
a pretty sweet group.
I saw, man,
Like
it is.
class of disc golfers.
It is. So I've been playing disc golf somewhere in the 13 to 14 year range. And so, like, I'm just going to say it. Like, Yuli, I've known you since I started playing. Like, I've known you. I haven't known you, but I've known who you are since I started playing. And I think that is something that is like, and I hope there's no offense when I say this, but like, I think in my head, I think of like you, I think of Avery, I think of Felberg. Like, I think of people that for my generation coming in, like, that's like the consistent foundational disc golf people that are there. It's just,
Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you.
yeah, it's just like in my head, it's just you are that foundation of disc golf to me. So I know, I think it was, well, first of all, are you done for tournaments for the year? Are you done? Are you like, what is your off season?
I'm never done.
Okay.
Well, so yeah,
I play every weekend almost. I play little tournaments every weekend. I'm playing A tier this weekend in Spartanburg, North or South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina. And that's an A tier. Really great players there. Ricky signed up. Dickerson is signed up. Nico, I think, is signed up. So Germ. So we got a nice little stacked crowd over there for this weekend. And then after that, I'm playing at least one C tier every weekend until the end of the year.
Are you going back to the West Coast for the off season, or are you staying East Coast?
No, I'm going there for Thanksgiving, but I'm actually looking to move here to Charlotte.
Yo, no kidding. That's sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paul has this kind of like this cool dream. He wants everyone disc golfers to move into Paul Macbeth wants everyone to kind of move to Virginia in his area, just buy land, and then everyone's just gonna have their own disc golf course on their own property, and it's
It's
gonna be
like
like a disc golf mecca one day. But the Carolinas are awesome too.
it's
Yeah.
like it's like people come on our show to tell us they're like lifting up their roots and moving somewhere. Like Simon did the
Right.
same thing. He's like, I'm looking for a house in Massachusetts. So I guess we can do that for people. So you're not done. So do you have what you would consider an off season? What does it mean for you to have an off season then?
No, absolutely. I mean, I feel like after the US is your off season, and I have a few, these last 2 A tiers of the season, and then it is, um, my off season. And I'll play on the weekends, those small tournaments, but I just do that for branding purposes.
Mhm.
Make sure to get like into the grassroots of like the communities and stuff, and go play tournaments that other people wouldn't. And just to let my face be shown there and show that I'm part of the community, especially trying to move here to North Carolina. I want to make sure that people know that I'm here and kind of just get in there.
That's pretty sweet. I like that you still go out and do play those small local events. We were talking beforehand, and I was telling Matt and Paul earlier that I'd seen Ulibarri's tweet saying, I don't really care about ratings. I care more about the wins that's next to my name on the PDGA website. And I kind of like that because no matter what, you get to a point. I mean, there's never too much tournament experience. Even for the small tournaments, your rating may take a hit to it, but it does feel good to get another win. So
Hey man, nobody's gonna ever remember your ratings. I'll tell
exactly,
you that
because
much.
hopefully in a few years
They
the
change
pros won't
every
have
week,
them.
but
Yeah.
No.
yeah, they'll remember you coming to their local course
Mhm.
and whipping up the locals, and getting a win on their home course. That's stuff that people will remember forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And so speaking of your branding or who you are, at the grassroots level, um, can I ask, like, first of all, how much have you enjoyed being a commentator with Jomez Productions? And then two, what has that done? Have you noticed anything significant since you've been doing regular commentary in the exposure of who you are?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been great. Those guys are awesome, and I mean, that's like really the number one brand in disc golf. Probably behind Macbeth right now is Jomez, and so to be a part of that is really fantastic. And working with Jeremy's been my best bud for a long time. I mean, that's a blast. As far as it for my branding, of course, it's done wonders for it. For people to kind of uh, get a little piece of my personality. I've heard from other people that I seem really serious to a lot of people if
Mhm.
you've never really like kind of met me, and I kind of give off an intimidating kind of vibe. And that, if you really know me, that's not me in any way. Like, I'm a fun person and like to joke around all the time. And I was happy to get that and show that in my commentary a little bit. Tough shoes to fill with Nate Sexton, and so I just tried to stay away from like just make sure that I was just myself. And
Mhm.
as soon as I started doing that, it really started taking off for me.
Have you ever been into, because you started vlogging as well this year, but have you ever been into kinda doing the video content creation before commentary and before vlogging?
Never,
No.
never.
S
No, but I'm the type of person who, like, I saw how important that was, especially not being able to play tournaments. I've always been able to get, like I said, into those grassroots and go to the community and play tournaments. Like, I play, if there's a doubles next to my house, I'll go play that during the week. Like, I'm constantly playing and competing. Uh, but when quarantine happened, we weren't able to do that. And so I was missing that, and seeing Simon and Eagle, Eagle's great at it as
Mhm.
well. I think he started doing it before Simon even
Mhm.
did. And to see them and their vlogs really take off, and it did wonders for their brand. I told myself, like, I'm the type of person where I dip my toe in everything,
Mhm.
commentary, competing, whatever it is. Like, I want to be involved, and I don't want to, kind of get left behind with the times. And so that was my first, during the quarantine, was my first try at it, being like, okay, I'm going to give this a go and um, make sure to do it.
Mhm. It's funny how everyone does vlogs differently. Like, it's even like that in the YouTube world of, like, famous vloggers out in the LA scene, is everyone's different. And I think we kinda have that in the disc golf world where, Yuli's got the down the fairways, and it's more tips oriented. He's brought on a couple guests and just really, really showing people how to do certain things in disc golf. But then you get a channel like Simon's where it's like, hey, we bought this wheel. Let's see how much Casey can get, how much money Casey can get if he gets a birdie. Like, it's just crap like
Right.
that. And then Eagle's like, hey, I'm out in Colorado this week. This is how this tournament went. And, it's kind of cool because I love YouTube. I love watching vlogs. I love watching all those kinds of things. And so when you do get to watch multiple different people, especially in the disc golf world, it's, I don't know, it's cool to see.
For sure. And so, let me go to this because we're talking about your brand. We're talking about, the exposure you definitely saw. Like, is there anything practical? Are you getting more messages now? Are you seeing more comments? You just know in general that more eyes are on you through Jomez, of course. Again, they hit 250,000 subscribers recently. So that's meant something for your brand, but what is the talk right now about what it might look like when COVID is kind of letting up, if you will, and Nate Sexton's wanting to come back? Has there been any discussion about that, about how maybe you three could be incorporated, or are you going to be a backup? What does that look like? Do you have any ideas?
No, we're gonna get here. 1 second. These dogs opened up my door.
That's okay. So these dogs open up his door. So
I didn't know they had thumbs. What the heck?
we were informed about this. I think he's down there with I think it's the same dogs, if I'm not mistaken, down there when Big Germ was on the show. So they are just jealous of the stream. So
they want to be in, yeah. So no, we've chatted about it for sure, and we're gonna have a couple meetings in this off season, and I'm gonna be involved for sure. To what capacity, I'm not 100% sure, and I wouldn't want to like throw anything out there that I don't know, but I do know, that they want me involved next year, and we'll figure out something for sure.
Totally cool. I think it's interesting how in the disc golf world, at least in this point in the game, when something happens that is kind of clicks and people are enjoying it, how it's like, well, that's how discoveries are made. It's kind of like someone takes a shot and maybe some don't work, but some do. And one of the things that's working, from at least from the responses and comments that I see, is your practice rounds with Big Germ.
Right.
People are loving that. Kind of like, how did that come up? Did somebody just like pull something out of a hat? And then the other thing is, people want to know, like, how does it feel to always lose to him?
Yeah, no, I get that question all the time, and it was I believe one of their crew members had the idea, and then it was kind of in the back of their head for a long time, and then finally, again during quarantine, we had time, and I believe Vermont was the first one, and we just went out and did it, and it just kind of took off. Germ and I together, I guess, is pretty entertaining. And it was funny. We were playing just a practice round at a local course here, a couple miles from his house. And we're whining and taking a couple stabs at each other, going through a certain group, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't any different from your practice rounds. Like, this is every day." And I looked at him. I'm like, "This has been for 10 years. What are you talking about?" Like, I think what people like about it is it's genuine. They know that we love each other. We might not like each other, but I love the guy. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm saying? But we're able to, have that kind of relationship that people can relate to with their buddies on the course, and because I think mine and Germ's personality, like, the cameras don't take anything away from.
Yeah.
Oh, we just had him freeze up. We'll see if that keeps happening. So while his connection is hopefully coming back, Nick, am I wrong in making an assumption here that it's possible that people like our show because you and I are friends for so long and we love each other?
I know, right?
We might not like each other. No, I'm kidding. And I think that's possibility why it works out for us. Like, I'm able to tell you my opinions.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're not talking over Paul right now. We're trying to get his reconnected. So
I was gonna say, I don't think we're talking over Paul. Yeah, we're just covering. We're trying to fill some dead air right now. But yeah, no, I definitely think if you're gonna have a podcast, especially hosting it with two different people, then you definitely need to be able to have that kind of, I don't know, vibe going off of each other. Like, you gotta have that comfort zone and everything like that.
Yeah.
Can you guys see me? Or?
I'm not
wait, hold on, Yuli, we can hear you.
We can?
I just heard him.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here.
oh,
I
wow.
don't know what happened.
He's back.
Was that you guys or me?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened either.
You can blame us. I think it was you, but we'll
What
blame
kind of
me.
production you guys are running around here?
We try to make our guests look as bad as possible and just see how long they'll stick it out. Actually,
All right, I was blabbing. Where did you guys lose?
Yeah,
actually,
so
we should do a
where did we
version.
lose him?
We should do a version of Punked. That would be
Yeah.
sweet. No, where you lost us. We were talking about Big Germ. You love him, you don't
practice
like
rounds,
him,
yeah.
and I was telling Nick, I feel like that's kind of why our show kind of works because I love Nick, but I don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the point is, those are working out very well. People are loving those. So
Sure.
I hope those at the very least would continue.
No, absolutely. Those are gonna happen, and like you said, they kind of took off, and that was great. And we definitely plan on doing one, for the next touring season for sure.
Very nice, very nice. DJ Heck Yeah said hello, by the way. He said thanks.
Oh, tell him what's up.
Thanks for coming to the MBO. You can tell him what's
That's
up.
it.
Be like, I'm just telling you, he's in the room.
Actually,
he's chatting.
Yeah.
Actually, you might be able to see it on the screen. That's a new thing we're doing. But he's a DJ. He's an Innova ambassador. So
wicked nice guy.
Let's go back a few years. I think it's maybe it's a year and a half now, 2 years ago. You got injured like during a tournament and you pulled yourself out for the rest of the season. Do two things for us. Bring us like what was that injury? What was that recovery like? And then do you feel like you're 100% this year? Like, or the year that just finished? Do you feel like you're back?
Okay, so I tore my ACL in Portland. Complete tear and my meniscus and a slight tear of the MCL. So I just wrecked my knee. And I was out for, I had surgery a few months later and I was out for, I think it was 6 months or something like that, 6 months. And the recovery process was grueling, terrible. It was awful. But I mean, that's what it is with you ask anybody who tears their ACL. It's just like, takes a lot of work to get back. And to say that I'm 100% would be a complete lie. I'm not 100%. But I can tell you this, my last 5 tournaments that I've played after Vermont, I think I played 5 big tournaments after that, my knee hasn't been as bad. So that's good. So in the last 3 tournaments, I've almost had 0 pain in it. And that's something that was not happening the whole year. So
And I remember,
I guess I'm getting better. I'm going to take this off season and really build the muscles around that knee. And I actually re-injured it at the Vermont tournament, and then hurt it again at Vibram, and then had to go get like a what do you call it, MRI on it, and they just told me like, hey, you got an old knee and you're pretty much grandpa, so there's nothing we can really do about it.
Nice.
Are you a grandpa when it comes to the disc golf world? Are you now looking at players who are coming in and being like, I'm 15 years older than them, 20 years older than them, like with like Kyle Klein coming on the scene and things like that?
No, absolutely. But the good thing about it is I feel that like seniority, but I'm only 32 years old, and that's like pretty young still as far as like athletics go, and especially golf or disc golf. Like I feel like I should be in my prime. Obviously that injury really kind of set me back a bit, but I don't think there's any reason why I can't get better, the next few years. Now I do have a little cap, like 5 years I'm thinking, and then I'm probably going to start declining, but I definitely feel old compared to like the new generation. And like you said, man, I've been around since the Feldbergs and the Averys, and that's a generation before even this one that we have right now. You know what I mean?
Yep. Do you feel like there's anything, and if there could be anything, do you feel like there's anything good that could have came out of that injury? Like maybe kind of like a mental reset, which I know obviously you tore your ACL, it sets you back in your career. I know obviously there's nothing good, but could you find some core like silver lining that it was like, okay, that happened, now I can improve on this or whatever?
A lot of things. Patience. I mean, taking something for granted, like just walking or running, is pretty unreal. Not to be able to do that for a certain amount of time. I learned a lot of things. I won't go into them. Some good,
Well,
some bad.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But no, there was definitely big time life lessons to be learned from that whole process. And to say I'm thankful for it would be a lie. I'm not thankful that I got
Yeah.
injured,
I
but
wouldn't ask you to say
I
that.
try to take lessons from everything, and I learned a lot from it for sure.
No, that's cool because there's definitely a lot of people where if an injury like that happened, they would just be like, okay, well, that's it. Time to find the next avenue in life and go with that at that point. So for you to be able to bounce back, and especially in the time that you've done it, even with a couple of scares that you've had, like I remember at GMC, I remember Macbeth was telling me, I think Yuli might have just torn something again, or even at MVP Open, it was the same thing. Like I think Yuli banged up his knee pretty good. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine going out and playing like my knees aren't great, but I've never had that big of a thing happen to them. So I kind of like you're saying, I don't take running for granted or walking at this point now.
All right, Yuli.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm thinking. You've been like we just said it again. You said it again. You're like, we've been around for a while. I think that's people probably think you're older than you are because you've been around so long in the disc golf scene. Um, I think honestly, and I said this earlier, people consider you one of the best disc golf competition wise. If you were to fast forward 10 years from now and nothing was to change, everything was to maintain like what you're doing now and what you have done, would you be satisfied? In 10 years, it's the same situation. Would you be satisfied? I did a good job.
Well, see, that's the thing. The one thing that I have done in my career is I believe that there have been times in my career where I worked harder than anybody. And like I've gone through different things to where mentally I worked hard and I really searched through meditation or books or sports psychologists or anything like that to my physical. I mean, I've had off seasons where I really went after my body to try to be physically better. And I've always been searching and trying to get better. I've never had a time in my life where I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done trying to get, to improve. Like it's constantly on my mind. If I eat a cookie, I think, is this going to help me,
Mhm.
win a world championships? I'm that competitive. And so absolutely not. In 10 years, that's not going to change. I know that I've given it everything that I could possibly give. Oh, to be as good as I am, and I can take that definitely too, when I'm older to be like, that's the career I had and I earned every single bit of it.
Mhm.
So,
That that I think is just awesome. And that kind of speaks to just your confidence in who you are as a player, I think, and a person. And you like this segue? Speaking
Yeah.
of confidence,
Yeah.
I think Coling and others they do attest to your confidence on the course.
Mhm.
I think as an amateur player, me, and I know we have so many other amateur players that listen, and I'm sure professionals and really good rated players and all that. But can you tell us like what does confidence translate practically to you? Like what is it? Is it literally running through your head like you've got this shot? There's no way you can miss it. Is it like that? And like so what is confidence to you practically? Like what is it?
that's a good question. I think it's experience, like confidence is like knowing who you are. That's one of the things is there's a lot of people who just kind of like, you can tell it's a show. Like, come on, dude, you're not like that confident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they try to get away with it by, like, trying to act, like, cocky or something,
Yeah.
and I've been called cocky in my career, which is fine, but the people who really know me know that I believe it.
Mhm.
Part of it is because of the work ethic that I've put into, really anything that I've done, like, if I'm if I'm playing pool, if I'm playing ping pong, if anything like that, like, I'm not gonna do it and just kind of half, what it, I'm gonna give it 100%. And that's my mentality. So I can take confidence into really anything that I do because I know I'm gonna give it everything that I got. You aren't
Mhm.
gonna see me if you wanted to kick rocks as a competition, like I'm gonna try to beat you. And I think that's something, and that's for anything. If I'm gonna, try to be a good commentator, like I'm gonna give it everything that I got, and I'm gonna be confident in that because I know that that's as good as you can do. The one thing that you can do where you lose confidence is not doing that. Is just dabbling. Like if you do that, then you're gonna dabble in just anything in life. And I give it, I feel like I give it 100%, and that's where confidence comes from me.
Mhm. You've said in years past that you feel like you've worked harder than anyone else. You did that mentally, reading books and stuff like that. How did you work harder in the disc golf world? Like, what were some of the things that you did that made you feel like you were working harder than everyone else? Kind of like, what was your routine?
Well, one of the routines that I had was one year I took gluten completely out of my diet. I took sugar completely out of my diet. For an entire year, I didn't drink any alcohol. I was in the gym every single day. I transformed my body. I think I was 155 pounds that year. And I just dedicated everything to disc golf. I had a regiment to where I'd wake up at a certain time. I'd go to the field, practice in the field. I'd do putting, and then I'd rinse, repeat, go and do it the next day. And that was one of my most successful years of playing disc golf, and there's no way that anybody outworked me that year. Just because I made sure of it. That was one of my goals, is to see like, hey, if I actually do this, like how good would I be?
Mhm.
Now there's also been years where I didn't do that and I was just as good. So it's funny how all
Yeah.
that stuff can work, and it's up to you. And I think again that's why it comes down to, I've done it. I know, the recipe for myself for success, and you just kind of got to get after it and do it,
Mhm.
you know?
How long you've been able to play disc golf without having to do anything else job-wise? Like, how long has disc golf been your full-time job?
I had a job when I was, what was it, 17 for about 4 months. I was 4 to 6 months or something like that.
Mhm.
I worked at a little pizza place for a couple months, and then I worked in landscaping for like 4 to 5 months, something like that. Other than that, I've never had a different job.
Nice.
So when I was 17, I had like something like that, and then after that, I disc golf has always been my job.
Gotcha. And do you think in your kinda, like, early years of playing disc golf at that age, did you realize right then and there you wanted to do this full time, you wanted to make this your career? And it, like, was that ever kinda like a stressful thing in your head of like, "Hey, I'm dropping everything that I know, and I'm gonna go pursue playing disc golf professionally?"
Oh yeah, like I said, like I do everything 100%. So I actually had a scholarship to play golf at ASU,
Wow.
and
Whoa.
I dropped the scholarship and didn't play and went on tour instead. And my parents were not happy with me. They were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be a professional disc golfer. What do you
Yeah.
mean?" So I went out with like, I think like $700 to my name, and moved to Phoenix and started training in disc golf, and then went on tour, the next year, and just went and did it.
That's
Man.
sick. That's
So
so cool. I love hearing stories like that.
so how good were you at golf and at what age? Like, were you scratch golfer?
I was close to scratch golfer. So the way that it worked where I'm from Sholo, Arizona, and there was different districts for this particular year for juniors. I played in a district.
Oh, is
Oh,
that
did we
us?
lose him again? I don't think it's us because 'cause we've never had that kinda issue.
Okay, well, we don't need to
Right.
blame it on him, Nick. We don't need
No,
to
we're gonna blame it on him.
blame. So we'll see what's happening here.
He's
But
definitely
that
still
but
that's the funniest thing is that he's rambling right
I
now.
what I think's interesting is that
Yeah.
I I knew he played golf like
Where
friendly
I think it
What?
was
with people on the oh, that's funny. Yeah. So
I think
we
we got him.
almost. He played golf, and I know that he does that with people on
Mhm.
tour, like during like breaks in the tour or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he probably puts up money and he probably beats them bad. Um, so he's telling us it sounds like he was a junior, and he said there's different divisions and he
snow.
was close to it. So we're
Yeah.
hearing him kind of pipe in a little bit here and there. Um,
Doc Zen had said, the Nick and Matt show storms here in North Carolina / South Carolina. Oh, that makes
oh, so
sense.
maybe a
Yeah.
storm's in the way. So if and when he comes back here, we're definitely going to do judge that disc golfer, and he's going to judge one of our super fans who caught up for a round with me. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Imagine if Germ is just messing with him.
Germs in the other
Germ's
room,
like
like hogging all
unplugging
the
the
Wi-Fi.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like trying to
That's
chime
funny.
in. He has our Skype number. He'll call us, and we'll see what happens here. So we'll let that try to reconnect. So let's do this. We asked him quite a few questions, Nick,
Mhm.
and and I think it would be interesting for us to, at this point, and if he jumps in, he can join the conversation with us.
Wait, is he calling?
Yep. So he's calling us, and we'll see if we can get him in. But he can join the conversation with us. Is the topic of strongest teams in disc? Okay, so we got him back. Oh,
Oh, did we lose him? Oh,
here
there
we
he
are.
is.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on, man, but that's okay. So just finish up that topic for us on the golf. Like, just wrap that up. You were good at it,
Okay, no,
so
so there was different districts
Mhm.
for Arizona, and I was in a really small district, but I played all the junior events, and I think I placed top 3 in every single one of them. And then you get once you get top 3 in all of them, you get a shoe in to go to the state championships where I played really well at, and I got the scholarship for my district.
That's
Very
insane.
cool.
I never knew that actually. Would you consider, because like I remember last year in 2019 when we were in Arizona, a bunch of the Discraft people, we all went out to Top Golf, and like Adam Hammis was really good at it. Ben Calloway was really good at golf.
Callaway, the name Callaway, it must
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, like, would you consider yourself one of the better, if not the best, disc golfer out there?
Oh snap.
I mean, that just depends. Since you know, I was, I don't know, 17, 18, I probably have played like once or twice a year.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of awful. Like I played the other day and I think I shot over 100, you know, but when I was playing a lot and I was like dedicating my life to it, I was shooting under par. So if
Yeah.
I were to practice like, you know, for 3 months straight, I don't think
You could probably be.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that could beat me. Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people that could beat me
Yeah.
for the worst.
Yeah, right.
No, I like golf. I like Top Golf. That's a different thing though. That's expensive, but golf is expensive.
Top Golf is wicked fun.
So let's do this in
Mhm.
transition. We're getting ready to do the Judge That Disc Golfer segment, but before we get to that, can we really talk quickly about and this is interesting. You're the team captain for Discraft, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so I do not know how much you're going to contribute to this except for one side of this conversation, which is who has the strongest team in disc golf? If we were to take, let me kind of encapsulate that. If we were to take your 4, I'm not going to say favorites, in your head, you can keep them in your head because you don't have to say them out loud. If you were to take your 4 players on a team, whether it's Discraft or Innova or Prodigy or MVP or just any of them, right? DD, Discmania, you can keep going on and on.
Yeah.
Who has the strongest team? If we were to make super teams of each of those sponsored teams, who's going to win? And I think this would be a really cool, not side event, but kind of like a feature event for teams to go up by sponsorship. Who's Discraft bringing? Nick, Paul, feel free to speak as much as you want on this. I just don't want to get you in trouble.
This is pretty easy for me. So Discraft has Paul and Paige. Like, who are you gonna put up against those two?
Yeah. See,
I mean, it kind of
hold on. I'm okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking about this conversation. Was I know we're going to talk about MPO and FPO, but like I'm thinking MPO right now, looking at the full team is a lot, but I'm thinking like, all right, if I was to pick 2 players from MPO and then 2 players from FPO, that's how like I want to have this conversation. I don't know how you want it to go.
Right.
I think it can be whatever players you want. I think at a minimum it should be 1 FPO. But okay, so we could do 2. So okay,
I was thinking 2 and 2 from each company.
You just and this is going to get really exciting. You just brought up Paul and Paige, but what about like let's go Calvin and Evelina. Now that's a battle. And how about like Dickerson and Katrina Allen? If we're just going to do singles match, like come on, this is getting exciting. Those are teams right there.
Yeah.
Now I know you have to say Discraft.
Competitive for sure.
I know you have to say Discraft.
That's what's kind of cool because I'd love to say no. Like if you were to take 5 Discraft players, 3 men, 2 FPO players. Let's say you take Macbeth, Ulibarri, and I'll just say Adam Hammis. Those are your 3 MPO players, and then your FPO players are Paige Pierce and Haley King. And then you have Missy Gannon as the reserve player. Now go to another team, and we'll say Prodigy. You got Dickerson, Jones, and then who would you place as a third? Kale, maybe? And then Katrina and Heather Young.
Okay.
So that's Prodigy's 5. Now, if you're going Innova, you'd go Calvin, James, Ricky.
No Sexton.
No, I wouldn't put him right now in the competitive scene just because of the way the year he hasn't played this year really that much.
Okay, all right.
So I'm saying for right now. So Calvin, Conrad, Ricky, with Evelina and Henna, maybe.
Sure. I think Henna. I've watched her play. She's excellent. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think who else.
So those are some good matchups. Are we leaving anybody out? Now, again, you don't have to say they're the best, Paul, but who are we leaving out for like other competitors?
Obviously, Discmania has the Eagle, the Simon.
But where's the FPO? Jinx.
Exactly. Who's the FPO in Discmania right now? That's killing it.
I hope, yeah. So
I mean, we have people on the team that are retired and still on the team, like Nate Dawson, Valerie Jenkins. Like we aren't even pulling people in that like
Okay.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Innova's got like Climo.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good point. They got Barry, my
We
boy
bring-
Barry Schultz.
Oh, by the way, Barry Schultz,
Yeah.
man, that was
4th place finish.
Can we talk about how somebody's so long in the game as well, like old time, champ and all that? Like,
can still compete?
That's awesome, right?
Especially
crazy
in the East
good.
Coast. Yeah.
When you say
filthy.
crazy good, just a 1-2 sentence deal. Like, what is it about Barry Schultz's game that stands out to you?
Consistency off the tee is just out of this world. I mean, the way that he throws like rocks and leopards and stuff, like he really makes courses simple with how straight he can throw. I've said this a lot of times, like if you can throw straight accurately up to 300 and let's say 80 feet, like you can compete on any course on the planet.
Yeah.
And that's just what he does. Like he's so good at making the game as simple as possible.
So Nick, should I stick to my comments then and just like lace those fairways 280, 300 feet, just winning?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like Uli is saying, 2013 was it the year that Barry got second place right behind Steve Brinster at USDGC? And you're talking, I mean, that's 7 years ago. So Barry was, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea how old Barry is, but he was still kind of like one of the OG players. Like he was one of the older guys in this generation of disc golfers right now. And like Paul's saying, for someone who can just really throw it 360 to 380 feet, just dead straight, accurate, and who's also a great putter, he competed at what's arguably one of the hardest courses on tour, where you think you need a lot of power. He obviously doesn't have that, and he still got second place at it. So
now we just played a skins match this last week at Myrtle Beach, and Barry was a part of the skins match, and he took a skin on 100 and I think it was 189 foot hole. So
awesome. So
or he took a skin and a CTP.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what would it take?
Yeah,
is you being a team manager? Was that your title, team manager?
No, team captain.
Team captain. And is there a team manager at Discraft?
Yeah, Bob Hooley.
Okay. So what would it take to start companies talking and saying, let's put our top, and let's just do like top MPO, FPO, and let's do a little sponsorship. Like we're going to talk about the Disc Golf Pro Tour's All-Star Weekend. What would it take? Because that's going to be cool extra coverage. What would it take to be like team by sponsor? That would be pretty cool. I don't know.
It would be cool. I don't know what it would take. I think it would just take some money getting put up and a nice production crew to film it.
All right.
I mean, I'm ready.
All right.
Shoot, let's do it.
The
I mean,
Nick and
honestly,
Matt show sponsors
that could be, that'd be sick. That could be part of like the Joe Mess tour that they were talking about. It's like the first event being a match-lay match between all the disc manufacturing companies.
I mean, Paige has how many world titles? 5?
5.
Paul has 5?
5.
And how much does the other teams combined have?
Well, Innova has 12 with one guy.
Okay, we'll put.
I'm
put him up against Paul right now.
I'm kidding. Yes. Let's
Right.
settle this debate. Let's put Ken Clive against Paul Macbeth right now. Who's the GOAT?
All right. That was excellent discussion. We are going to jump into the segment, Judge That Disc Golfer, and to all of our live audience, like currently listening right now, not in your car driving, listening the next
all
morning.
25,000.
Yeah. No, we've got over
What do we
200.
have? 17?
No, we've got over 200 right now. By the way, Big Germ has the most live views on our show ever, right? It was Big Germ.
Simon.
Oh, it was Simon the next show. So Big Germ got it, then Simon. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let me get the intro up, and we will begin judging. But what I want our live audience to know is you can actually join tonight with an actual polling software. You're going to text a keyword to a phone number, and you'll be able to do this live with us. It'll be the first 25 answers get in for each question. So go ahead. Here we go with the introduction to Judge That Disc Golfer.
Judge That Disc Golfer, the game show where you judge a disc golfer you've never met.
All right. My name is Matt. What's your name?
My name is Kent.
Kent. Are you the guy who comments on our show every week?
Pretty much every week. Yep, since episode 1.
Since episode 1. Thank you so much for being that guy.
I guess I'm that guy for something.
We need that guy, and we appreciate your support so much. So where'd you drive from today?
I drove from Kennebunkport, Maine.
So Maine, and you hit me up and said, can we catch a round? And it worked out.
It did work out.
And I thought to myself, who better to have than a participant on Judge That Disc Golfer than one of our loyal supporters. So thank you very much. Let's get to know your game a little bit.
All right.
So first of all, how long have you been playing disc golf?
Well, since I've known what the numbers meant, 10 months.
Okay, and what numbers are you talking about?
The flight numbers.
Okay, flight numbers.
Before that, I played 3 years with a birdie and a cheetah.
Okay,
Like
so
twice a summer.
Okay, so you've really only been playing.
Really, since January.
Okay, so about 5 months or so. So tell us, have you ever competed before?
I have.
Okay, and what division did you play in?
50 AM.
Okay, so amateur, 50 plus, and how did you fare at that tournament?
It was main states, and I went with no expectations, and I got 4th place.
4th place. Do you have it? Well, okay, so you competed.
I was very happy.
You have a PDGA number?
I do.
Okay, what is your PDGA number?
It is 133968.
Okay, so kind of recent.
Very recent.
Okay, and you played main states. Do you have a rating?
I do.
Okay, what is your player rating?
857.
857. All right, Nick, I'm not sure who our guest is tonight, but let's wish you both luck. Here we go. Kent, you know how this is going to go.
I do.
How far can you throw a disc?
All right, so that's how the game is played. We ask, how far can you throw a disc? And so we have to judge this disc golfer. Nick, what are you thinking?
Well, no, I was going to say, it'd be kind of funny because he's been on us, since week 1. It'd be kind of funny if he was like, oh yeah, I know how the show goes. And so instead of you actually pausing it, he just paused himself and stood there for like 30 seconds. And then, I don't know, it just would have been funny.
No, that is kind of funny. So we have some people joining on their computer already. You can see live. And this is okay. If you can see this, Paul, it's okay. This is going to be the audience. This is the first week we've done this.
This is sweet.
They're going to be influencing maybe your decision. But the way we do this, we make Nick go first. He has to guess how far is he going to say he can throw a disc.
No one has picked 250 to 275, so that's what I'm going with.
Okay,
250.
Well,
so no, I gotta pick.
You have to pick a number.
One. 250.
Nick is going to answer 250 feet for Kent. Paul, what do you think? This is pretty much an over/under situation here. What do you think?
Can I go into detail of
yes,
try to figure it out?
Yes, tell us what you're thinking.
Well, the way he was talking at the beginning, he said, "Yeah, I guess I'm the guy for something." So he's not feeling very confident in the disc golf, and he kind of has seen the show before, and so that tells me that maybe he's not really confident. But then, as soon as you asked him how far he threw, he got this kind of little grin on his face, like he was proud of how far he threw. So with all those, I'm going to take those into account. And then he plays MP, or what was it? He said M50, right?
Yep.
MA50. And he took 4th place in Maine, which is pretty solid, which means he's good at something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by his personality, I'm going to guess that it's not putting. So I think he gets the drives kind of out there. I do. I think he's pushing him out there to close to 375 feet. He looked like he was in pretty good shape.
Okay.
You have to give your very best exact answer, because if there's a tie, the way that we break tiebreakers on this game is
363 feet is his max distance.
And what did you say, Nick?
250.
Okay, and just for the people listening post later, driving around in their cars, 42% are answering 275 to 300. The rest are kind of all over the board right around that, but most of them are saying no more than 300. So let's go ahead and pull back up Kent, and let's see what his answer is. And
look at that grin. That's a big arm grin.
You got a screenshot and send that to him. That's a great picture.
Oh yeah. So here we go. He can screenshot. Okay, Kent, here you go. I hope you're enjoying this.
On a good day, I would say a fair number is about 290.
290 feet. I just played a round with him, and I think he's being very fair.
Okay.
You think it was more or less?
I think he's being very fair, like fair as in like. So I can't go out of the way because we got some more questions coming up here, but like I think he threw multiple shots that were over 300, I think. I was impressed.
What layout did you play?
So he's
real
being
quick?
fair. White.
Nice.
All right, we lost. we lost Yuli again
Oh no, did we lose him?
for just a minute.
No, I'm back.
Oh.
I got a call.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
I think it was Kent calling me, telling me thank you for the compliment.
No, for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get up the next one here. So for those of you who are already in the game, you can stay in the game, I guess, or if you know the texting information, here it is again. Let me pull up question. So wait, we didn't answer who got that.
I think
It's
technically I did.
Nick. All right, it's Nick. Here we go. Question number 2.
Did you clear hole 8 white and land in bounds?
Okay, so while that's happening, I have to do really quickly. I've got to switch over to the next question. So there you go. People live trying to answer now can live answer. All right, what do you think? Did he clear hole 8? You've been here before, Yuli. So you know hole 8. You know the gold layout specifically. And this year, the drop zone was the white hole. So just to put it in perspective over the water, the first drop zone was the white hole. So you are up first, Yuli. Did he clear hole 8's pond from the white layout?
You said he threw multiple shots over 300 feet.
He
So I
might.
have to say yes.
Matt might be lying.
No, I'm not lying.
There's no way. If this guy's only throwing 290 feet, there's no way he cleared inbounds. I don't know. He's got me all perplexed.
So
I think he cleared it and went out of bounds right.
ooh, so that is so
okay.
the question does look kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Did Kent clear hole 8 and land in bounds? Yeah, so so what's your final answer? Did he clear hole 8 and land in bounds, Yuli?
Yes.
All right, Yuli says yes. Now,
All right.
I didn't say this for the rules, but you can guess the same on a question where it's either one or the other.
But I'm not going
You
to.
can guess the same.
No offense, Ken, but I think you threw it short this time. Underestimated it, and I think you threw it OB short. So I'm gonna go with a no.
And just so people can know what our live audience is saying, the percentage right now is 60% saying no, 40%, which would be the other.
Man, rough audience.
Yeah, it says
See,
yes.
I think that my guy Kent is just phenomenal.
All right, here we go. Did he do it? Let's see where the point goes. Here we go.
I did.
Awesome. Okay.
All right.
Did he actually though? Did he?
So
I'm just kidding.
there is a video out there to prove it, because when you step up to that hole for the first time, you want a video of it. And yes, he did clear it, and you were close, Yuli. He cleared it long and off to the right. It just didn't go out of bounds. So it was you were pretty judgeful. You were pretty accurate in your judgment.
Thank you.
All right, so let me go ahead and get the next question, and then I'll open up the polling for question number 3. So we are tied up right now. Here comes question.
I love this polling. This is great.
Yeah,
This
it's
is fun.
actually sick. This is the first week we've done it. Matt's done a ton of impressive things this week.
Oh, Nick, I love you.
It's insane.
All right, here we go. Question number 3.
All right, Kent, you just played a round of disc golf with me. This is probably the first time you've ever seen me play.
First time here.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot to do something we've never done before. I want you to judge my game 1 through 10, 1 being not good at all, with 10 being top pro. You have to give a number for my game. And Nick, I don't care what you think. You have to guess what Kent says.
Okay, so we have never done this before, and you don't technically have to know my game. You have to kind of know Kent's game, which you kind of do a little bit. What is he going to think about my game when we're out there playing? He's only been playing 10 months. I've been playing 13 years. And
what's your rating?
I don't know.
940s.
How many wins do you have? Is actually
I have
what
one. I have
Yeah,
one
yeah.
advanced men's win, one in all those years, and I'm like 940 rated. But the one win I do have is at Maple Hill. I'm pretty proud of that. I was happy about that. So Nick is going to be the first to guess on this one. Let me open up the polling. Hold on a second, because I think that'll be cool to get the polling up again. I got to reopen it. Okay, so the questions are back up. If you're into that thing, go ahead and do that. They're coming in here. Let me switch it over. All right, Nick, you're up.
So I got to think how Kent rated your game right after you guys played a round.
Oh man, everyone's choosing right now
Yeah.
live. Like, what does he
This
rate
is-
my game? That's
yeah.
not. It's not necessarily what my game is. Maybe I
Yeah.
played a bad round. And
I was
actually,
gonna say, Matt, you might have played a bound round. I'm gonna go with
So do you want that? I'll give you guys a little tip.
No.
What I
no
played
tip, no tip.
par for whites. Do you want to know what I played for par on whites? So that'll help you and maybe.
No.
Okay.
No.
After
That's
you tell us
cheating.
after. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I think you went with the 5%. You went D. You averaged a 4 rating that round. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just saying you had a bad round. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't say what my
Kent's
round was.
definitely-
Kent was like a 9, and you were down there with a
Kent-
4.
Kent seems like a nice guy, you know, and he was already kind of giggling about it, and I think he's gonna give you a nice little number with a 6.
Okay, so the over under here, it's whoever's closest. So in this situation, you just have to, you probably have a wider win range here. So let's see what happens. Let me go ahead. Oh, by the way, the audience right now, 43%, which is the greatest percentage, is saying 7. 35% is saying 6. So that's our
the
largest.
audience really likes you.
That is our No, they're answering what Kent is going to say.
No.
Okay, compared to Kent.
I just want to see if Kent's a savage.
Okay.
He's like 2.
So,
He beat you.
all right, let's see what happened.
7.5.
Oh.
I think
Don't hate me.
I think that was extremely generous after today's round.
Don't hate
Very
me. he
generous.
says.
That means
Yeah.
that's very. Thank you.
Matt, you
Thank
about to go on
now
tour?
tell us how you really feel.
4.6 now.
4.6. So that
Come
was the
on.
joke. His real answer was 7.5, which if I had to rate myself, just to give you guys an idea about how I feel about that rating, after that round, I was feeling like it was borderline 5.5. I was just
Nice.
not good. I was like, I run a talk show. Like I talk about disc golf. So
That's funny. That one that got me laughing pretty good.
all right, that is that's
Especially at the end of that. Do you remember what you shot though?
it was if par is 56,
6.
it's just 2 par 4s. Technically, I know par. It's hole 10 plays up the hill.
You
It's
shot
tech-
let's
Oh.
guess what he shot.
I
That's
shot.
right.
Well, actually, hold on. Yeah, I can tell you what I shot. There is a tiebreaker question I have for this round to ask what he shot, but we're not to that if we don't
Mhm.
need it. I think I shot 4 or 5 over, I think. So it was just not good. I
Okay.
started out really poor.
Gotcha.
And then I shot a double OB on hole 18, which hole
Yeah.
18 Maple. That was
Yeah, yeah.
stupid. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me let me go ahead and open up the poll before I answer the question this time, so that way we can get a little head start on it. All right. So the question.
So I'm up 2 on
Yeah.
the questions.
Yes, you
Wait,
are.
is it 2-1?
It is 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1, buddy.
All right. Question number 4.
If you were to pick unfavorable weather conditions for your next tournament round, now coming from Maine, we know you have experience with snow, although you've only been playing 5 months. But tell us.
10 months.
10 months.
Oh, 10 months. Tell us, would you rather have moderate to kind of heavy rain? We're talking significant. Snowing with, let's say, 6 inches of snow on the ground while it's snowing. So that's pretty consistent with heavy to moderate. And or a windy, let's say 20 miles an hour at least, gusting into the 30s. What are you going to choose for your unfavorable tournament weather conditions?
Okay, so we kind of lost the connection there with Yuli again, but we can start the judgments here, and I can start pulling up the live polling so we can see what that looks like. So right now, the audience, Nick, is saying
he's back.
He's back.
Sweet.
So all right, he's back. So the audience right now is saying what? Like 70% are saying snow, but the rain is bumping up to 38.
Wind's
So-
catching up pretty quick.
Wow, this live polling is
Yeah.
extremely
It's
cool.
really fun, actually.
Okay, so Yuli,
Yeah, it is Yuli's answer first. on
what?
this
So
one.
if you heard that, what unfavorable weather is he going to choose? And we kind of defined each of them. We said wind is 20 miles an hour, gusting to 30. Rain is moderate to heavy, and snow is snowing, but it already has 6 inches on the ground. So like his next tournament round, what's his
He's going to say wind for sure.
wind? All right. What would you choose before Nick answers? What would you choose for your weather?
Wind.
Wind. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, nobody wants to play in snow or rain.
All right. I watched GBO. I don't know how many people actually enjoyed that either. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
That's why I would
Nick,
hate to
you're
play.
up. What are you choosing?
Snow.
The majority here in live
Because
polling,
I really want to pick wind, but at the same time, I don't want to go with the same answer.
I
So,
think the
I'm gonna go
live
snow.
audience is totally swaying Nick on this one to choose snow. It's what is that? It's hidden behind my little icon there. It's probably like
I mean, he's from Maine, so he probably plays in snow all the time.
Yeah.
But
50%
that's
snow.
why I'm thinking he's gonna want to just change it up, a bit.
All right. Well, let me
He's a Mainer. They
pull-
love the snow.
pull down the poll and get the answer. Here we go.
I knew this one was coming. This is an easy one for me. I'll take rain all day long. I'm from Northern California. It rains all the time, so I'll take rain.
See, I didn't know he was from NorCal.
He said he was from Northern California, and he's moved back and forth, I guess, a few times. And so I guess for him, it's rain that he chooses. So, all right, next up on the board. So that's still, you're up 2-1. This is the last question. If Nick gets it and you don't, it's a tie. We have a tiebreaker. Otherwise, it's going to be a Yuli win. Let's see how this plays out. Question number 5.
Wait, can you
How
pause it
many
quick?
aces do you have?
Okay, we asked how many aces does he have?
I just want to say something really quick. It's funny how you said, let's see how this plays out. Because that's like Yuli's catchphrase in the Jomez commentaries. Let's see how this plays out. So,
It's one of those slips, man. It's like a Freudian slip. All right, so let's see how this plays out. All right, so the polls are coming in like crazy right now. It's heavy on the lower than 3 or less, but Yuli, it's not Yuli. It's actually Nick who has to guess how many aces.
How many aces?
Now, the options for the live polling I have up there are 0 to 10. Obviously, I could have.
If he has more than 10 in 10 months, I'm going to be very surprised.
That's kind of why I stopped.
Exactly.
But
I'm going to go with B. He has 1 ace.
1 ace. This is it. I always give the tip to our guest. This is an over/under game here.
He could say 2. Yeah.
Here's what you guys got to know about me is I am insanely competitive, and I don't like to lose at anything, like I said. So I'm gonna go with B1.
Oh no! You cheater!
Wait,
that just means if I get it right, so does he. So no matter what, I can't win.
All right, let's change this. I didn't. I have to give the disclaimer. This question you can't do that. This question you cannot do that. Only on the only when there's 2 options. If there's 2 options, you can do that. All right, go ahead and make a pick.
That was actually so smart.
B.
I gotta hand that to you.
Wait. So what did Nick choose?
I said B.
1. And what do you choose?
Oh,
How
1.
many aces?
I'll choose C.
All right, so you're choosing 2 aces. All right.
Which was the second.
He said he
answer.
turned it over on hole 8, which means he might have even given it a bid there. I'm thinking this guy's ace running all the time.
All right. Live audience is saying 48% 0, 19% 1, 24% 2, and then it drops off. There's one person I think that says 10. All right, so let's go ahead and see what he answers, and let's see what happens to the victory or the tie. 3
Wow.
aces.
It's a 9-hole putting course by my house, but they are legit aces.
Good for him.
All right, Kent. Again, we appreciate your support so much. Today was truly fun.
It was a blast.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Hey, was that Nate Perkins behind him running by the camera? Oh, looked like him.
Was that Nate Perkins?
Imagine.
That'd be pretty funny. So I had a lot of fun during like MVP and stuff, like finding guests, try to create content for future episodes, and I think it would be funny to do one like that, where like somebody walks up in the background, like I don't know. We'll figure out something.
We'll figure it
year.
out for next year. Yeah.
Okay, so we just Nick, tell our guest.
You and the many other guests that have beat me on the show. Next time I see you, and we have time to hang out and everything like that, I will happily buy you lunch because
Thank you.
everyone that
Wow,
wins gets
wow.
lunch.
So in our
I didn't even know we were putting lunch up.
Oh,
yeah, no, see, I just wanted to see if you would take something a little bit casual. You know, there was no, no bets on or anything like that. But no, you still beat me. I think your last answer was the funniest, where no matter what, Nick cannot win if I check B. So That was so smart.
Awesome job, Yuli. You join a very celebrity list of winners who have beaten out Nick. I think we've had out of 23 episodes, Nick's won how many?
3?
Three?
I think maybe two or 3.
Yeah.
I beat Big Germ though, didn't I? Was the episode with Big Germ the one where I was like nailing everything perfectly?
I think so. That was one of your wins.
So that
Big
episode
Germ.
with Big Germ, I smacked him.
So you
actually.
can tell Big Germ you
Nice.
beat out Nick. All right.
Yeah.
So in closing out here, Nick usually does this, but I'm going to steal it. Do you want to go ahead and give any shout outs to anything you've got going on, anything you'd like to promote, like that's going to benefit you or your sponsors that you'd like to let us know about?
Oh, I appreciate that. No, I got whenever you can buy a Yuli Raptor signature series from Discraft, that helps me. But honestly, if you can buy any of the team's signature discs or really anybody's team's signature disc, that goes a long ways in keeping all the top pros on tour and finding your favorite touring pro. So always do that, and check out my YouTube channel. You can just look it up by Paul Ulibarri, and I have a great series called Down the Fairway where I give little tips and I have guests on and stuff. And look for this off season. I'm going to be putting more content, and I have a really great idea. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I have another kind of segment coming on there that I'm hoping will gain a little traction and become super popular. So keep an eye on my YouTube channel. And thank you guys for having me on.
Heck yeah.
Obviously, I mean, this has been awesome, and I definitely have seen multiple episodes with you guys, and you guys always have a blast, and I appreciate that.
Well, this has been a very fun episode on my part. I think I meant to say this earlier, but for some odd reason lately, Jomas has done all these like memes of the week things found, and Yuli is always getting thrown in memes of the week. And one of the funniest ones was when he's lining up a forehand and they have the song "Smack That" from Akon playing. That one has me dying.
Yeah.
But then I think the most recent one was it was something was saying like to try to build up your self-confidence, like talk to yourself, and Yuli sitting there and he's like follow through idiot. It just like it had me, I'm like red in the face now from it. But
Nick
when I
is
first saw
sweating
that,
so hard right
when
now.
I first saw that on Jomas, I almost crashed my work truck because I was looking at it. Like,
No, you weren't driving and looking at your memes.
oh, I can't say that
Well,
to the
what-
safety guy.
Okay.
The
Hannah
funniest part about that
Macbeth
is I
said
did-
hello, but
Oh, tell her hi. No, the funny part about that is I had a whole down the fairways thing about like self-talk and how you should talk to yourself like glad, and then it adds me on there to be like total goofball, you know?
oh, that's just like follow through, you idiot. Just- I'm sorry if I'm being so annoying in the mic right now, but like certain
It's good.
things
It's good.
have just had me dying, and like especially when it's something
That's
that
funny.
funny, and then I have Yuli on the show, and he's just like, because I've known Yuli. You want to know one of the most savage moments in Yuli, and I got to keep him on for another like.
Speaking of
two
Savage,
minutes
did you
because-
hear? Savage Ultimate is no longer Savage Ultimate. They're VII Ultimate now.
Oh, okay.
It's
Didn't know
it's they feel like Savage is related to something
sweet. Gotcha.
political.
Oh, all right.
Okay, anyways.
Anyways, so we're up at D-Glow this year, okay? And I just flown into town. And so Paul and I teed off at 12:15 and Yuli teed off at 12 o'clock. And so we're on our way to the course. We're driving in my car and we're talking about, he does off-season training with people. He gives lessons for X amount of dollars per hour. And I'm like, dude, that's so cool. Like, that's really awesome that you're able to do that. And I'm telling him how I struggle with, getting big distance and consistency and pretty much all around disc golf I struggle with. And we're kind of joking around. So he's like, okay, well, after the round, we'll go over to the field really quick and we'll, I'll have you throw a couple drives. So after the round rolls around and Yuli and I are talking. And so he's like, all right, take one of your drivers and kind of like throw it at the ground, because there was the road right in front of us. So he's like, just throw it hard, pretty much at the ground. And so I take my driver and I rip it, full speed, rip it and everything. And Yuli was like, no, seriously, like actually throw it hard, dude. And I was like, I did. He was like, no, hold on. Like grab another disc and do it again. And at this point, AB, Anthony Barella, has walked up and he's kind of laughing because AB knows my game. And so Yuli's like, dude, just throw another disc. So I throw another one at the ground and it's even slower than the last one. And straight up, it's just like, bro, you are so slow. Like It was just
making me laugh.
The most God's honest truth. And we luckily, I'm a pretty, cool guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I was just dying laughing because it's so true. So he's like, look, this is how I do it. And he's like, you can be smooth. And then he shows me this nice smooth shot. And he's like, but then you got to be explosive. And he shows me this explosive shot. And I'm like, what's it like to be able to do that? He
like,
literally
okay,
just straight up
and then he
looked at
does
me
his-
and he was just like, dude,
Yeah.
you are so slow. And I was like, I know. That's literally why I'm about to pay you $200 to teach me how to throw a disc. Just kidding.
All right. So
Oh.
with that, we did have a good time tonight. Or at least we did, like Nick and Matt.
I did.
And we had fabulous time with you on here. I think that we'll definitely have to have you back on again if you'd like to. We'll schedule that at some point.
I love it. Yeah, definitely have me back, and I had a blast as well. This was hilarious.
Next time we'll have better internet. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure
Until-
that you don't cut out. We'll make sure on our end that you never cut out again.
Yeah, guys, come on.
Well,
Jeez.
go.
I gotta
watch-
blame Matt. Matt's the tech guy. I
No.
just come here and smile.
Go watch the Big Germ episode, and he does. Remember that like mannequin freeze? He's just like
Yeah, oh,
smiling because his internet. It's the
Well-
it's the same internet actually. His internet like froze up, and he's just like smiling like it's super funny. Okay,
That's
anyway.
what's happening here, probably.
Anyways, we'll tell.
Hey, Kent, tell Kent we need to get that drive over 360 or whatever I said, man. You're kind of, I mean, I guess the rest of the game, but I think we can do a little work.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe we could get quicker than Nick. I hope.
Well,
yeah, I would hope at this point. I'm a lost cause.
All right, totally appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll catch you around, man.
Take it easy, Yuli.
Later,
All right,
later, guys.
bye.
Peace out, brother.
Thanks again.
All right, so
I gotta say, I don't think I've laughed that much in an episode, and for some odd reason, like I said, when Yuli's memes have come out recently, they've had me dying. So everyone, that was Paul Ulibarri, Team Discraft captain. Shared a lot of cool insight about his off-season tournaments and everything like that. Yeah, I thought it was a blast.
So someone's saying we didn't let him get his sponsors in. I feel like we gave him an opportunity. I think we got carried away.
Yeah,
go
I
check
kinda-
out.
yeah.
He said where to find him on YouTube, Instagram, all those places. He'll post it there. So Nick, you got somewhere to go tonight, but let's get in our final segments here, which is
Well, so I was gonna say that actually if Yuli wanted to stay on, but anyways, I actually, like I said, change of work plans. So I don't have kind of a time restraint tonight now. Yeah, so we can do our 4-hour episode. But originally, guys, I was supposed to drive out to northern Boston, Mass tomorrow. So I would have had to been up early, but I was supposed to go to my workshop after this and go pick up one of my work trucks. But that whole plan kind of went out the window like I figured it would. So now Matt and I are going to be able to talk more to everyone.
Okay, so someone's saying let's make this a Joe Rogan length podcast. I think let's actually make this a Smashbox length podcast.
Yeah. How long are Smashboxes
Smashbox made it to they've made it up to I think 4 hours. Once.
No.
It's like 3.5.
See,
3 hours on regular.
I'd have to. The only time I could do that is if we had guests, like 2 different guests with us. Like I really want to. I think this wintertime we're gonna have a great episode with Simon and Casey. I think that's gonna be.
So
really
here's
cool
how I
eventually
think.
when we can get that going.
Anybody listening in right now, here's how I think that would go if we ever do a longer show. We will actually do an intermission and take a break.
Yeah.
Restart a new stream. Okay, so real quick before we transition into the next segment, which is Lost on the disc golf course, and then we're going to talk about the Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star Weekend and what that looks like. Before we get into that, people seemed after our last conversation at the end of our last show a little confused about what we are doing going forward, for the rest of the season. So let me be clear. We don't fully know, as in we don't have any changes that are imminent in our head, but we're just giving everybody a heads up that the off season will probably at times look different. There may be breaks, there may be 3-week breaks, but the idea is we're not just going to disappear. We're going to let you know what's happening, and unless you hear from us, then assume it's normal. But so let's go ahead, Nick. Let's jump into this topic. So let me tell you a story, and you may or may not be interested in this story, but I met Kent at the course. First of all, can I just say from a perspective of somebody anybody wanting to reach out and who's never met you before and wanting to get in a round of disc golf with you. One, that's cool for the disc golf community that you can just do that. And 2, it's because we started the Nick and Matt show. I would not have had a chance to meet Kent unless I would
Without
have had
that.
I would have had a chance to meet him, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known. Like, you know what
But
I mean?
would he have known? Would we have known him?
No.
Would he have known you?
So
kind
because of
situation.
because of the Nick and
Yeah.
Matt show, he reached out, and so we ended up getting in around at Maple Hill. So we meet up and we start playing, and I think he's been playing 10 months. He seems to me, and I've played with a lot of people who are new.
Mhm.
He seems to me like he has been playing longer in the sense of how his game plays out.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because he's in the chat room right now. I actually
How-
mean that.
Yeah. How did he shoot?
So
Do you remember?
I know the scores got flopped on one hole. Like, he messaged me later. He's like, I gave me a 2 and you a 4 on a hole. And so,
And it was
but I
what-
think
yeah.
I think he ended up shooting like 60. Let's say it was a 66 maybe
Okay.
on whites.
Yeah.
Which for playing 10 months, 66 on whites.
Yeah.
That's
especially because it's kind of littered with OB in a lot of areas.
that's only like, what is that? 8 or
Mhm.
9 over. Anyways, I was impressed.
That's
okay.
sweet.
So he throws, like sometimes he'll throw like a lighter, like road runner, like, so his game is still like very like early.
Mhm.
But anyways, so let me get to the story. So we make it out to hole 8. All right. And this is where we asked if he cleared it. And he stood on the tee pad for a little while. Like, I don't know if I can clear it.
Mhm.
Like, I should probably just consider that there's no water here. I should consider, I'm like, just
Yeah.
pretend it's grass.
Exactly.
Okay. Like, it doesn't, he's like, yeah, it's only 250 to clear it. I'm like, I know, man. Just pretend it's grass. Just throw your shot. And so he stays there for a little bit. There's 2 people standing over on the red tee pad. Now, if you've ever been here before, red tee pad, if you watch the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship at Maple,
Mhm.
Not the championship, Disc
The
Golf
MVP
Pro Tour.
Open.
Yep, MVP Open. If you drop zoned 2 times in a row on hole 8, which was clearing the water,
Mhm.
eventually you made it to the short drop zone, which is like a jump putt around a tree kind of deal.
Mhm.
That 2 people were waiting over there. Okay. They were waiting over there. And we're like, you can throw through, like, go ahead. Like, they're on the red. That's also the red tee pad. And so he stands there. Now he has that pressure. He's like, people are waiting for me
Yeah.
on the, and like, I don't know about clearing this.
Yeah.
So I say, you got this. I pull out a camera. I video him. He clears it after waiting, a few minutes, clears it long, a little bit right. He's like, wow, I cleared that a lot further than I thought I would. Cool. They're clapping for him on the next tee pad. See, you can do it. And it's just 2 things here. The disc golf community is super cool. Like, they're just
Mhm.
like, awesome job, Kent. Like, they don't even know him.
Yeah.
So it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend couple over there.
Mhm.
And so we play through and we get up eventually to like hole 10. Okay. And he sees the castle hole. That's what we call it. The castle hole, the wood elevated hole 10.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, I'm like, you got to play that hole, but we're playing whites, which doesn't go there. So we play 2 holes there.
Oh, nice.
And we're on one of the fairways, and this girl that let us play through earlier comes like running. She's like out of breath. She comes running all the way up, and she's like, Kenton. And he's like, that's not good. Like, how does
Yeah.
she know my whole name, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody calls me Kenton. My name's Kent. And she holds up a wallet, and she found his wallet. Like, and this is fall in New England, so leaves are everywhere,
cow.
like everywhere, like thick blanket of leaves. And what's the worst thing? Just to our chat room now, like, what's the worst thing you've ever lost on the disc golf course? So she comes up and she has his wallet, and he's like, oh my goodness, like, I don't even know where to begin to say thank you, because that's massive. Like, I
Yeah.
just traveled from Maine to come here. Like, that's massive. Credit cards, everything.
Yeah.
So he pulls out a $10 bill, just hands it to her. Like, here, have money. Thank
Please,
you. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, this is the the least I can do. She's like, no. And anyway, she takes it, starts walking away. Her boyfriend catches up eventually, and he walks back to his bag. Kent walks back to his bag, and he's like, oh, see this side pocket on my bag? It unzips and the wallet falls out. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. And he goes, maybe I should check and see if my keys are in there still. He looks
Oh,
in the
no.
sides, and I'm just getting the sinking feeling. I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? Should we look and see if the
Yeah,
keys are in
right.
there? So he feels around, Nick, and there are no keys in the bag. This is at Maple
Oh
Hill,
my
blanket of
God.
leaves. We're on hole 10.
Yeah.
Who knows where it is? So he immediately goes, like, the day's over until we find that. Like,
Mhm.
we're done.
Yeah.
Like, the round's over.
Yeah.
And so we just like, we go up to her again. We're like, we're so sorry, but like, is there any way you can walk us back to like where the wallet was? Because maybe it's even nearby.
Mhm.
So she's like, yeah, she just like amazing. She just like takes off running, and we're like following her all the way back, hole 10 to hole. I said it was hole 9, but hole 9 plays over the
Yeah.
hill. It's a long walk,
yeah.
whatever. So she's up there looking around. We're looking around, and wouldn't you know, right near the basket of hole 9
the keys are sitting underneath the basket. Now, I think that's amazingly lucky.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. Like, again, leaves 6 inches deep. Like, to find the keys that quick. He's like, I don't really care how the rest of the day goes now. The round, I don't care. I can
Yeah,
bogey everything. I'm
exactly.
happy. And so
Holy cow.
it made me wonder, and I told him right in the moment, I said, we're going to talk about this on the show. It made me wonder immediately, what is the most costly thing that anybody has ever left or lost
Mhm.
on a course? So have you ever lost anything on a
So
disc golf course, Nick?
I technically did, but then didn't at the same time. So when we were up at Deglow earlier this year, I was warming up for my round and I had to run back to my car. I think I had to go grab a mini. And so I put my keys after coming back from my car. I went to grab my putters and kind of threw my keys in the top putter pocket where I have a bunch of my discs. And I think when I threw on my bag to go over to my tee time, the keys just flung off and I totally didn't realize it. So they were around the practice area. So I play the round to go on and on and on. And Nate Perkins, Trevor Harbolt are on my card. We're all hanging out, having a good time. And then I get up to hole 18. I kind of wait around for a bit. And then Yuli and I are discussing how slow my throw is. And then Paul Macbeth finishes his round. Brody finishes his round. They come over and we want to all leave at the same time, go get food. And so I'm like, okay, you guys can come with me. And I go to open up my bag and my keys aren't there. So I'm like, oh crap, like this really sucks. And those are my work keys as well. Like they have my shop key on it, different keys to like my gym key and everything like that. And sorry, some comment just made me laugh. So anyways, luckily though, I brought both my sets of keys when I drove to Michigan. So one of my sets of keys was in my suitcase at Bob's house, which was like 30 minutes away. But so we're looking around. Terry Miller ends up actually saying on Smashbox, he was like, hey, by the way, everyone, Nick Carl lost his keys. So if you find them, like, you know, bring them to Tournament Central, whatever. And it turns out that Nate Perkins had found them in the practice area before we even started the round, had no idea whose keys they were. So we played the whole round together, me not knowing that I lost my keys. I get up to the round and I don't, you know, obviously don't know that he has them. But then, so I'm going around and apparently he went over and was trying to like unlock the cars, like find out where the lights were. And he put them on my tire. And someone had said that. They're like, yo, Nate Perkins put your keys on your tire. And I was like, I just played a whole freaking round with them. Are you kidding me? I don't know.
That is actually that's really
Yeah.
funny. You're
So-
like, I can't find my key. Yeah, that's really funny.
No, luckily, that would have sucked to lose those, but
So that was an experience he had, and he was super excited. And let me just kind of wrap up the story, and then we'll talk about things other people have lost. We make it back to hole 18. I ask him to be judged at disc golf, or we do it. I'm getting in my vehicle to leave. He's going to get in his. I parked in separate parking lots at Maple Hill, and he comes running over to my vehicle, and I'm like, now what?
oh god,
He comes running
Yeah.
over, and he's like, go check this out. He's like, my truck is filled with balloons and like chalk paint on the windows, like, we love you, congratulations, your first time at Maple Hill. And he's like, I live in Maine. He's like, my family drove down from Maine to fill up my truck with balloons, and
Are you serious?
they moved his truck, so he couldn't find his truck after losing his wallet and his keys. He gets back and he's like, where's my truck?
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, you didn't lose your
Dude.
truck too. So it was filled with balloons. And like, so then I come over and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, this is really cool. We look around the corner and we can see, like, I think it was his wife and one of his daughters. They're like with their cameras out the window, like zooming in with their cell phones, like Snapchatting them. And they're like, we don't know anything. And they're like driving away, honking their horns. It was so cool.
that's actually awesome.
It was so cool. So like, that's the wrap of that. Very cool story. But so I wrote on a Facebook group and I said, what is the most costly thing, or what have you lost on the disc golf course? And so here are some of them. One of the answers was money and a bet. $100 in a day. Has anybody, listening live or listening later, just think about this. What's the most money you've ever lost in a day? My tournament entry fee. I don't think I play very many bets with my money. I don't know. $100. That's a significant bet. $100 round. Like you going up versus
Yeah,
somebody.
I don't know if I don't think I've ever done $100 round. I did a double or nothing round earlier this year that I lost. So I lost $40 that day.
Okay. So cash was one thing. Discs. Somebody said 3 first run Lunas they've lost on the course.
That's about $100 right there.
CE Leopards, 2015 Sexton Firebirds. Like, that's unfortunate.
That's so funny. Right when you said that, Scott's Toss commented, does a 2015 Sexton Firebird count? That's really funny.
So then here were some where people started saying my, as in like the preface was my. They said they've lost their game. So my game, my mind, my marriage, my dignity,
my marriage.
Dude, so people are like, this is what they've lost. Now, whether or not they've lost their marriage, I can tell you that it actually did put a strain on my marriage in the beginning.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I didn't answer that.
Oh.
No, I'm not saying I answered
I thought your marriage went through a strain. I was like, oh,
no,
dang. I'm
yeah.
like, yo, Steph, that's not true, I swear.
No, I'm saying, okay, so let me clarify. Somebody said their marriage was something they lost on the course.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I played so much disc golf in the beginning that yes, Stephanie's like, do you want to go on She's like, do you want to go on a date? And I'm like, to the disc golf course? And then she's just like,
she's probably like, all right, sign the papers.
She's like, not really. Like, that's not the date I was thinking. And I'm like, a tournament? Like a travel destination disc golf trip? So anyways, my marriage, my dignity, somebody said. This one was funny. Somebody said they lost their left shoe specifically. Now, how do you do that?
It just got stuck.
They stepped in like water or mud, and it just like sucked to the bottom. Like, and
stuck in mud of
Georgia. That's Georgia mud. So like, they said they were like reaching around trying to find it, and it was just gone. Their shoe was gone. Somebody said they lost their virginity. Like, actually, key fob. That one cost $328 to somebody. They lost their key on the course. $328. Earbuds, wireless headphones. This one is incredible. A wedding ring. And this week, that wedding ring will have been worn for 50 years by Ed Ratledge. He answered and he said, 50-year anniversary this week.
Congratulations, Ed. That's absolutely insane.
But he lost his ring. Like, he didn't say when, but it was recent. Within the last year, he lost it and was able to find it. And that's amazing because, again, 50 years. Lost a phone. This one was funny. Someone said they lost a phone and they kept calling it, Nick. And they said somebody eventually answered and said, I stole your phone. Quit effing calling.
That's so bad, but so funny at the same time.
But you know what is interesting? My buddy Scott, he's not a disc golfer. He had his phone stolen once, and he said the same thing more or less. He called, and they're like, "Stop calling! Like, I have your phone."
Jeez.
Anyways, so those are some things that people lost on the course. Thought that was kind of interesting. Just prompted me to think, like, what's the most costly thing ever lost? I was figuring a ring.
Yeah, I figured someone would have lost like an engagement or a wedding ring, something like that.
Oh man,
a wallet with money in it. I figured that. But it's kind of funny because people do throw like really, really expensive discs. So I guess that could technically be like a 2015 Sexton Firebird. That could technically be the most expensive thing that they've lost, which is pretty insane.
Or what about like throwing like a AVR stamp destroyer like on hole 14 at Maple, like right into the water? Like,
I've seen Paul do that.
There's like a $2,000 disc in the water.
Everyone's on their way to Maple right now swimming. I think he got it back though. But that's pretty insane.
So those are things that are lost. Thank you, Kent, for losing your wallet and keys so we can talk about that.
That's so funny because Kent must have had like a whirlwind of emotions that day. It's like, great, he came to Maple Hill. And then it's like, that's super awesome. And then he met Matt Graham, kids disc golf. That's super awesome. Then he went out and played Maple Whites. Like, that's super awesome. But then he lost his keys. He lost his wallet. So then you're like, oh my God. And then you walk back and your car or your truck is missing. So now you got to find your truck. And then there's balloons in your truck. Like that. I don't know. That's just a crazy day.
All right, so our live chat says we should talk about Don Shin. Just go back to the beginning of the show. We did shortly. 100-year-old through 189 feet, world record. That is incredible. Go watch that YouTube video. Look up Don Shin with 2 N's disc golf, and you can find out about this inspirational guy. Yeah. Nick, we're going to move on over to the Disc Golf Pro Tour All-Star Weekend.
Can you take off the Skype
Where were you, Nick, when you heard about the news, the All-Star Weekend? Where were you? No. What do you think?
I don't know. When did it get released? I could tell you exactly where I was.
I think it was like, I don't know, 3 days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
I was probably in Melrose, Massachusetts or Paxton, Massachusetts. One is where I work, one is where I live.
So what do you know about All-Star Weekends, like just in the sport world? Like,
All-Star Weekends?
Yeah, like what stands out to you about them?
It's pretty much the best athletes at their respected sport going to a destination and playing their respected sport. So whether it's the NBA All-Stars, which is who votes for who, or like the people kind of vote for the players who are the All-Stars, which I think is really cool because then the players or the people kind of have a say in it. Then there's the baseball All-Stars, football All-Stars, everything like that. But
So, like, what's the feeling of it? Is this like a serious regimen, and these guys are going out there like no jokes? Like, I'm here to like.
so with I love watching the NBA, and the NBA All-Stars last year was insanely cool because normally the All-Star game, like the final event that they have is the big All-Star game, the East versus the West, or Team Giannis versus Team LeBron. Normally it's just kind of like a joke, a very offensively heavy game. They throw sick alley-oops to each other. No one really plays defense. But then this year there was actually an incentive to get to, I think it was like 150 points. Whoever does that first is the actual winner. So they kind of played around for 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter, everyone was pretty serious. And you got to see kind of all-star basketball really get played. But they have a ton of different like mini games where there's a 3-point shooting, the dunk contest, the skills challenge, and then there's the celebrity game, which is really cool as well. So
So what do you think? I mean, so disc golf announces a disc golf all-star weekend, and let's just kind of let me put the news out there and then ask you if you think some of those things that you were just talking about will make their way into this. So they just announced an all-star weekend sometime mid-January of 2021, so this coming January. They've taken the top 8 based off of point standings. Some people were confused at how these players made it based off of, they said, we saw the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship and this is not how it finished. No, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is taking the top 8 from the whole year, as in like through Disc Golf Pro Tour standings, the way they were seeded going into the championship. And here they are. They've deemed them a lead card, top 4, and then the next 4 through or 5 through 8 are called the chase card. I'm not sure why they did that except just to make them card based. But anyways. Lead card is Macbeth, Heimberg, Wysocki, McMahon. Chase card is Dickerson, Locastro, Kevin Jones, and Garrett Gurthey. So the way it's going to work, my understanding, is it's a match play event. The main feature, and we're going to talk about maybe details that we'll see here, but the main feature that was announced is match play. They will go 1 seed versus 8 seed, 2 seed versus 7, 3 versus 6.
If they do it like that, though, how does it work between the feature card and the main card?
Yes.
So these aren't the actual legitimate cards, because like
exactly
Paul would be, or Macbeth would be playing Garrett Gurthey.
So they made it confusing to me.
So the card thing is just saying, okay, that's just kind of like a disc golf terminology. I got you. Okay, but that's not exactly.
My understanding is it's not going to matter.
So it's probably on the same card. It would be like Macbeth, Gurthey, Heimberg, Kevin Jones. That would be card 1, and then we'll say.
That's a good question. I'm not sure how they will do.
I'm just saying
cards.
Potentially. I would say like Wysocki, Locastro, McMahon, Dickerson.
Can I tell you how I actually? Now you're just making me think about all the details here. I kind of wish, and I don't think they're going to do it this way. It's a lot more work, but I kind of wish they would just do Macbeth versus Gurthey. Straight up, that's it. Nobody else on that card. Play out the match play. If it ends after 9 holes, which is probably not, but if it does, then it's over. And now they go on to the next one. They say like next up, like. I know they can't quite do that, but they could almost do it. They could almost fit in 2 rounds or 3 rounds a day.
It's like what we do for Team Challenge. It's kind of cool when you have the 2 different groups going out and you're playing against each other against the different. Well, for us, against a different team, pretty much.
The difference here is they're all all for one, like all for one and one
for
all. Anyways,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's how it's going to play out match play. I think, and then let me just get the FPO.
Well, I was going to say I want to get the FPO side of it. Being the top person was Paige Pierce, and then Katrina Allen, Sarah Hokum, and Haley King. And then for the chase card, FPO, Missy Gannon, Jessica Weiss, Kona Panis, and rounding that out is young gun Heather Young, silky smooth putter. So it would be Paige Pierce versus Heather Young.
And can I stop you right there and just say I saw on social media, this was so cool, and I wish there was more of this.
With Paige.
Did you see what she wrote on Young? Yeah, she wrote on Heather Young's Facebook page and was like, hey, you ready to do this?
Yeah. She's straight up just like, hey, I'm going to beat your ass on the court. No, I'm just kidding.
But she's more or less like, you ready to do this? Like, who's going to win?
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is super cool. And this is being played in Florida, right?
Yes. Why do I think it was like Miami? No, it's probably like I don't know.
Is
I
it
forget
at
where
that
it
New
is.
Worlds course? I wonder. You're saying you have it written down. Greater
Oh,
Orlando
there you go.
area
Greater Orlando area.
with travel accommodations provided by the DGPT. That is super cool. I didn't know that.
Travel and lodging. So they're like, hey, we want to do a feature event and like offer like, so we're
Yeah.
getting kind of carried away with ourselves here, but more or less the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the way I see it, wanted to offer content
Yeah.
for their audience because guess what, Nick? They have how many? I don't even remember the number now. 20,000 subscribers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
25. Like the number's pretty large. And they're thinking, people are just going to unsubscribe for the next 3 months until the Pro Tour starts back up. If we can offer them something at least once a month. And so I think they're probably scrambling to find another thing for like November, maybe December, maybe they take something off. But I've already, okay, did you see already? Like they grabbed the Oakleys who like to do a lot of gaming streaming.
Yeah, I was going to say they're doing the streaming going on right now.
I kind of feel like it's not quite a stretch. It's a disc golf network. They are pro disc golfers, so I get it.
I think there's so many people who are into that kind of gaming world now at this point. I'm obsessed with the gaming world, so I think it was a really cool idea for them to do the live disc golf network with the Oakleys going on right now. And then I think there are other people who are also going to be able to do it. But for someone who's a big video gamer, I think that's really cool. So,
yeah, for sure.
It's more content, and it gives you kind of like a personable way to hang out with Tina and Eric, who are super great people.
I agree.
So
I think the reason it stood out to me as a little bit weird was initially just because it was the first time that's ever happened for that network, which there has to be a first time. But then they don't put out enough content for that to be like not a feature. Because normally that wouldn't be like a feature. If you were watching like a sports network channel, like that's not going to be their feature.
No, it'd be something casual.
So anyways, I think it's very cool. So there's definitely money on the line, although they haven't advertised for the match play yet, what the money is. Obviously, it's free money in the mind of these players. They are not in like the tour season yet. Their mindset isn't going to be stroke play. They aren't doing stroke play. Do you think they're going to be able to come out, Nick? Like, Paul, we actually know all of them, but like, are they going to be able to be more? And this is what I was asking you about the All-Star weekends in other sports. Are they going to be able to have more fun and be like, I don't really care very much about the money. Like, money's nice. But like, I want to have super fun here.
So pretty much like, what is their competitive
All-Star
nature going to be?
It's going to be like the Pro Bowl, isn't it? Where it's just like, let's just have fun and like show off.
I don't think it will be like that.
Okay.
For disc golf. I think honestly, because the top 8 people who are in this are all pretty competitive people, to where, especially if it comes down to say Paul and Ricky, there's no way that they're going to kind of just be show offy and doing it for fun.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Did you watch the match between Tiger and Mickelson?
Oh yeah, I watched that.
That definitely. Now they have a different history, but like that was so cool.
Yeah.
I hope they mic up these players. That would be extremely cool.
I mean, that'd be really, really
Can
cool.
Ricky and Paul kind of just agree this is not like there's nothing like it's significant, but we're having fun doing this? Can they do bets just like the match? Can Paul be like,
I think they can to a point, but
like
I think
$500 for a birdie on this.
It's kind of like the skins match that they did at Santa Cruz a year or two ago. Like they all did have a pretty good time with that, to where Sexton was throwing in Mako threes with forehands and Ricky was running big putts, stuff like that. Like I think they can have a good time doing it, but I'm more curious. I don't know. What would you rather watch? Would you rather watch a fun show-offy event, or would you rather watch like, hey, it's it's Paul and Ricky in the finals. I want to see who the heck is.
I want to watch them play the best they can while offering entertainment of like little bits of like betting and little bit like here's the amazing thing. And I've been, we've all followed Cards with Ricky on it. I've played rounds with Paul, not competitive rounds, but I'll tell you what Paul does. He can back up what he talks. Obviously, this sounds so obvious, but like we'll be out there playing a casual round with Paul and he'll be like, oh, see that tree over there? Like, and he's kind of joking. He's like, that's the tree you got to get over. And you're like, that's not the line at all. And he's like, watch this. And he does it. And you're like, come on, dude. Like the fact that you can back it up means that you can say that, but everybody knows you're just showing off. Nick, I wish I'm going to switch to your shot. You're like, yes, I totally understand.
No, I've seen it plenty of times.
So my point is,
I think
can that happen? Like do amazing, impressive stuff, but it's definitely not like a world championship where they're like all upset if they lose. I kind of hope for that.
I
That's
think to a
just
point.
me.
I don't think they'll be super upset that they lose. It's not like they're not going to be nearly as upset as whoever lost the DGPT finale that just went on. Like all those guys were obviously super upset besides for KJ. But yeah, I think they'll be fun to a point, but I think there is going to be a lot of seriousness that gets put into it.
It'll be
I
very
think
interesting
personally,
to
I
see.
don't know.
So what
Hopefully.
what about the extra events?
I hope
So-
they have a ton of extra events.
Can they do like a night under the lights, like long drive competition? Like they'd have to find some massive.
You'd have
like,
to find a
sports
massive field for
complex.
Garrett and Eagle to be able to throw in it.
But like a sports complex with back-to-back like soccer fields or something.
Yeah.
Like that should be enough.
Yeah.
Nobody's throwing more than 800 feet on flat ground.
Depends on the tailwind. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably not going to happen.
But the
in
point is,
January
like, it'd be
Florida.
very cool.
Yeah, I think
to
that'd
have
be really cool.
long drives,
Yeah.
scramble challenges, like
Mhm.
like meaning like a skills challenge.
You and I have kind of talked about this before, where if we went to like Rocket Land and set up this whole,
I think
I think
thinking
actually,
about
I think at this point the way disc golf has kind of exploded, I think that could be a really cool thing. We'll have to talk
it.
about
People
that
would
for
be
next year.
lining up like to do
Yeah.
each skill and be fun.
Because
We're-
I want to talk about it like on the podcast, but that's the worst place to do it. So.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
so I think there will be extra events, and I'm pretty sure I saw that alluded because it's funny if you are on another podcast Facebook page, which I am. Jeff Spring chimes in every now and then. He's like, "Hey, following this thread because people are offering great ideas
Oh yeah.
and like
Yep.
side events and things like that." And so Jeff is definitely they're going to incorporate side
Yeah.
events. I know they are. I
They
say
have
I
to-
know it.
I mean, it'd be cool to see like the putting, like they do a putting challenge and then an accuracy challenge, a skills challenge, and stuff like that. I think there's a ton of different things that you could do with disc golf that would make side games really, really fun, more so than what the World Championships has done. Like there have been times where I've watched, I think when Worlds was in Vermont that year of 2018, we were watching the long distance competition, and then I was watching the putting competition, and some of the putting areas were like you're on one knee under a tree putting to an elevated basket, and it was kind of like, wait, those are the putting world championships? Like that's how we're determining who the best putter in the world is? I don't know, it just kind of seemed a little false to me. But
Do you want to know, Nick? This is random trivia.
you won it 10 years ago in the AM division? No, I'm just
Did
kidding.
did I ever get a podium finish as putting world champion for AM Worlds?
Yeah, Rochester, New York.
Yeah, I got third.
That's sick.
I was one putt away from going to a playoff for first at AM Worlds in 2011.
Did you know you were one putt away from doing that?
No,
Okay, so that like nervousness.
it
didn't
wasn't
hit. Oh,
there,
gotcha.
but it was so frustrating later to see it. Like I missed it by one. It was like a stupid short putt. Of course, it always is.
Mhm.
So, Nick, can we bring up this topic all relating to the All-Star Disc Golf Weekend? All-Star Disc Golf Pro Tour Weekend. I think, do things like this, and I think it's obvious, but I'm interested in your opinion, like speak about it. Do things like this and things like a $20,000 payout for like the championship event and then the All-Star Weekend, does this put like epic amount of like priority now towards the players that like next year being like, I have to try hard because there's so many extra things that are actually worth it to try for?
I think that will definitely be a big contributor to the off season and how people handle how they're training for it. I think as disc golf continues to elevate and continue to grow, players are going to finally start more so taking it kind of like in a serious way. Not that they don't take it serious already, but I'm talking about like
Yeah.
they're going to really make some big off-season changes. Like look at what Yuli just said.
Well, real
It's like,
quick,
yeah, when I was
continue that. But like, I'm talking specifically Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah, well, luckily, like this year, the Disc Golf Pro Tour was the only thing that we could play, and now that all the different tours have come out and they're all coinciding with each other, I think this next season is going to be an incredible year for all disc golfers who are full-time travelers. I think the tours finally were able to create a tour, and if there's any touring disc golfers in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the tour, looking at it, from my point of view, it looks awesome. Where they're going, when they're going there, and kind of like the flow. You start in Vegas and go up and around, then you hit the Cali, the Oregon, and then you come down for Worlds, and then I forget what's after Worlds, but then you fly over to Europe, come back to Michigan, and then play the big kind of like Central U.S. to Eastern U.S. And I love that the tour every single year finishes on the eastern side of the U.S. I don't know, it's just pretty incredible time for fall and everything like that, to where it's just beautiful. The courses are incredible. You kind of you see the wide open courses early in the season, and then besides for you, CGC, you start to see those really heavily wooded courses. So I think
Where do you think?
back to your point.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that people are going to start taking it a lot more serious now that the Disc Golf Pro Tour is potentially coming out with All-Star weekends. Who knows? They might even make it to 16 people in each division next year. Like it could continue to grow.
What about like a fan vote? Like
See, I thought there
top
should be
20.
Yeah,
So out of the top 20 finishers, they're gonna let's just say 8 in or 12 in.
Yeah, let's say the top 16 finish. Okay, so the top 16 players make it to this All-Star weekend. You know, and you can kind of do this like 8 and 8 kind of style.
Yeah, but then let people choose from, not everybody. Because I don't want to see like I'm not going to throw names out there, but I don't want to see like some just because they're a fan favorite.
Exactly.
I want to see like somebody who had the chance and was close.
Yep.
And like they could get a fan vote if that worked out for them.
I do think that the Pro Tour will implement a fan vote eventually when they can figure out what the best way is to do that. But I think for kind of their starter year and doing this for the first time, the way they did it was pretty incredible. And I love that they did 8 men and 8 females.
Yeah.
8 women.
We got to feature the full sport.
Exactly.
And that's, again, alludes to ESPN2. It's fully equitable there. Someone just said they're surprised it's not in like Vegas or Arizona because of the start of the tour. And here's the deal. Disc Golf Pro Tour is flying them there or paying for traveling and lodging. They probably don't really care where it is because they aren't.
As long as it's somewhere warm. I mean, I remember going to Vegas back in 2019 in late February, and it was only, like 45 degrees, 55 degrees, and it maybe got above 55 one or two of the days. Like it was kind of freezing, honestly. But then we went to Arizona the next week, and it was 75 degrees dry heat or more. So it was kind of like, is Vegas? I don't really know Vegas weather all that well, but is Vegas the place to go? I don't know.
So
I mean, I lived in Florida from January to April back in 2014, and I remember down in the West Palm Beach area, it was like 75, 80 degrees every day, so it was nice.
So before I continue and finalize that point on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and how amazing that is, I want to scroll back here in our chat a little bit.
I want to say something to I want to say something to Christopher for a while because he's asked a couple questions, and I always
and by the way, we're American and trying to figure out what the NOK stands for, and it's Norwegian krone. I had to look it up.
Oh, did you look it up?
Super chat from Norway. All that is so cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christopher. We really appreciate it. I do remember your first question. If we were going to talk about European players, and I want to allude to earlier we were talking about who has the best team in Discraft, as in like Team Innova, Team Discraft, and we were saying how Evelina, Henna, and also can never leave this one out, Kristen Tatar, 3 of the top female competitors in the sport. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to, play the U.S. tour this year because of everything that's going on with COVID, but hopefully travel restrictions have kind of loosened up when everything's safe to do so. So yeah, we are definitely hoping that European disc golfers will join the tour next year for MPO and FPO.
I'm just going to say from me, and I think probably most Americans, I can't speak for everybody, it has been a total bummer, especially, I don't want to leave out MPO, but especially with the rising stars or the already star plays. Like I was out at Vegas at the beginning of the year. I saw Evelina. I saw Henna. It's just like, and then obviously Kristen Tatar finishing out 2019 season, just like really killing it, and then not to see them at all.
Yeah. Well, especially with Kristen winning the U.S. I'm losing my train of thought. U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships.
Yeah,
and then I know Evelina had won Memorial with Henna coming in either second place that year or very close. So for the MPO and Albert Tom, Bazooka Tom coming out,
so can we just say we really do in America, we do really like the Europeans coming over here. Yeah. We want to see a challenger come over and face the best players in the US. We want to see that.
Agreed.
It makes it more exciting and more interesting. To finish up my point on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I'm just going to kind of not rant because it's it's a good rant. The Disc Golf Pro Tour, a private organization, a business, if you will, started up by Steve Dodge, the visionary behind what could promote professional disc golfers, put the spotlight on them, make a stage, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, so that players have the chance to shine and be compensated and have a reason and an ability to continue to travel around. Say whatever you want about Steve Dodge. Honestly, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I will say, though, from my perspective, that dude, if he did not have the vision to start the Disc Golf Pro Tour, it would not be here. Plain and simple. So congratulations, Steve Dodge. Your baby that you created is doing excellent. You knew when it was time to hand it off, and all creators, all designers, all inventors know the time when it's past what they can do with it. Jeff Spring and his team have taken the torch, and the baby that was started 4 or 5 years ago is now reaching a place where there is a reason to play Disc Golf Pro Tour events over everything else.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there's no pro out there who's looking at the event listing and going, it's really not worth my time to go play a Disc Golf Pro Tour. Even if the event is a little lackluster, which I'm sure the Pro Tour is going to take care of and fix.
Yeah,
even
can we
if
even
that's
say
the
that
case.
at that point? Yeah.
But even if that's the case, they're like, the points right now are too valuable because there's possibly $20,000 on the line for the championship next year and maybe more.
Knowing how the Pro Tour does it, there will be more.
And the All-Star Weekend just got added. And you can already hear from the pro players, Ricky, Kevin Jones, I haven't heard from Paul, that they're like, this is going to be awesome. Another opportunity, free money to show myself, to create my brand. If the Disc Golf Pro Tour adds one more thing, like one more event, I will tell you right now, they win. Like,
I think they win already for even giving this year a go.
Not that they're going to do this, and I'm finishing my rant. Not that they're going to do this, but they could literally capitalize or monopolize disc golf. I believe it. If they can offer the biggest payouts and their events collide with other events, they're not going to do this. But my point is they're that readied and primed where players are going to choose it. I feel like. So congratulations to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I think they've come a long way to do that. So I don't know, man. What else is there to talk about for the All-Star Weekend? Did I miss anything that was like, hey, this would be really cool ideas? Any of our chats have anything that they'd like to talk about? I don't know. It's a cool thing.
I don't know. I kind of actually, this has nothing to do with the All-Star Weekend, but I was seeing a bunch of chats earlier, players talking about the off-season potential signings that will happen.
Oh, good topic.
You know what I mean? I think that's an
notes.
incredible topic. I think that's something that you and I will actually have to research before we really.
Yeah, can we push that off?
Yeah, we're going to push it off.
It's
to the next
definitely
show.
a great topic.
But I think,
I have some ideas.
Christopher had just come back and he said Ezra to Discmania, and I have no knowledge about any of this, but I think that would be a great fit for Ezra. A lot of people were saying that too. I do know that Ezra throws a couple different Discmania discs. Innova Discs, he's an OTB sponsored player, which being with OTB, I think he is allowed to throw a very mixed bag. So pretty much whatever he wants to throw, he can throw it. And I don't know. I think that's pretty sweet.
That is definitely a topic because you know what you're going to look at? People who are outperforming what their sponsors are giving them currently are going to be on the radar. Like, Ezra. I don't know what his sponsor, but the point is like, that's what Kevin Jones, you remember Kevin Jones, Pro Discus?
Yep.
And everyone's like,
Austin Hannum was Pro Discus, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, but it's not that Pro Discus is a poor sponsor. It's
No,
just that
we're
they were
talking about
outperforming.
Those, yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, it'll be an interesting topic for sure. Like Simon Lizotte going to product. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, imagine. No, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious about.
Paul Macbeth went to like Innova.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about who would go to different companies. Like who's with a company right now that will potentially.
Putting off this topic, are there any powerhouse names right now? We're going to push this off, but just to put it in people's heads, are there any powerhouse names that come to your mind? Don't say them out loud. Who would potentially switch this year?
Calvin Heimberg.
Actually,
I don't know.
Okay, we're just going to push this off, and we're going to dig deep into our connections, and we're going to dig deep into our sources, and we're going to see if there's any rumors out there, such as the rumor that Paul is signing with Adidas, like officially. That's a rumor. There's also Paul recently just posted about a charitable organization, maybe that I don't know. He's looking for help with someone, so maybe he's starting one. But anyways, there's going to be, I think there will be off-season talk.
I think there's going to be some really, Nick is going to lightning discs. Yeah, definitely. No, I think for the off-season, I kind of thinking in my head today when I was driving home from work, and I'm like, what can we talk about? You know, if we're going to keep pursuing, obviously, the show as much as we do, what can we talk about throughout the off season?
Give us some topics.
So yeah, exactly. Definitely Nick to Arobi for distance game. Stop. Now my chat's roasting me and I can't handle it. That's so funny. Actually.
So,
but
we've come to the end. Unless
Yeah.
there's anything that you feel like we have loose ends on. Otherwise,
no, I'm trying to think. Is
Nick,
there?
you know your outro.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
to everyone as always. Please. I'm going to start over. Thank you to Yuli for coming on the show. Thank you for everyone else commenting. We hope that you enjoyed the new Judge That Disc Golfer. I really just want to give a humongous shout out to Ken Chapman for being one of the original OGs, and for Matt Graham to just every single week stepping up and doing something new with the podcast. I hope you guys appreciate it, because honestly, when it comes to something technical, I have done absolutely nothing. So this is all I provided some microphones.
Nick
and
is the
everything like
Nick is
that.
the good looks.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. But
He's the skill in disc golf.
nah, seriously, Matt's been absolutely incredible. We appreciate everyone for
Thanks, Nick.
tuning in tonight. I wish I could get sponsored by Lululemon. I think that'd be absolutely sick. But anyways, guys, please go on and smash the like button on YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, Matt, the review on iTunes. Did someone claim the second one?
Man.
Do we know?
Yes, but I'm not going to be able to announce it live right now. I will reach out to you. If you do not hear from me, then you did not win. If you hear
Okay.
from me, then you won. We did have a few people, so we will give that out. Congratulations to them.
To
All
that
right.
person. Cool. Well, anyways, please, everybody, go smash the like button on YouTube. Give us a share on all your favorite social media platforms. We are on every single podcast platform. So if you want to check us out in our post-round production or whatever you call it, post-show productions, everything like that, please. Make sure you tell someone you love them this week. Matt,
Dude, you're awesome.
catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Nick and Matt Show. Be sure to check us out on your favorite social platform and to subscribe on iTunes.